and welcome back. No, we're not done just yet. We've got one final set here on day number 2 of the SMITE Masters event. It's going to be between the Niflheim Wargs, who just found a brutal 2-1 victory up against their opposition in the Shibalba Storm. Now they have to face off against the Yomi Tanuki in one more best of 3 to see who's going to move on to face off tomorrow with the teams that have already qualified between the Hex Mambo, the Gilded Gladiators, and the Kowlin Wardens. It's J-Mac. I got Trelly joining me here on the desk for one final set at the very least. I can't say one final game, at least not yet, Trelly, because this one is going to be a brutal one to say the least. The Wargs coming off of a very long set, and the Tanuki coming off of a very long break. And speaking of a long break, we've been having a long day today, 10.5 hours, 4.375 metric hours. I wanted to throw that one out there, which means we're going to go into picks and bans for game number 1 as quickly as possible between these two teams.
He looked it up, to be clear. He knows exactly how many metric hours we have been here. And I see a Chernobog ban, and I'm assuming we're going to see an Uller ban as well. Trying to ban out that mid lane, trying to ban out Tripno, going to be a smart call. And hold that, it's actually going to be a Baron.
Baron and Chernobog, then Mercury, Baba Yaga. So the Tanuki watching that obviously watching the last set there, sitting out in the break room, paying close attention to the potency that Baba Yaga has. That'll be that, plus a Jing Wei band on the side of the Tanuki.
And it looks like the Uller will be open if the Tanuki want to grab it. 100% ban rate against them this tournament, so could be an option here. Or maybe they just never really cared about it and it was getting banned away anyway, so we'll have to see. But Yamoja will be the first pick there. A lot of space control, a lot of healing, something that every team is going to enjoy.
I mean, which do you sounds better though? Saying we've been taking part in this SMITE event for over 10 hours or for only almost 4.5. Which one sounds better to you, Trelly?
Well, I mean, 4.5 metric hours
True.
is what you said, so I'm just saying.
I don't know why I'm trying to derail this so hard, as we only have one pick so far with this Yamoja. Yomi Tanuki do have 2 picks available to themselves, and quite a lot up on the table. That Nike that we saw in the previous set, where it was really getting a lot of value. The Yamoja, probably one of the more valuable picks, I would say, that the Wargs can grab away from the Tanuki, take it away from Elion.
I mean, most notable, we've been holding on to, apparently Snatty talked up that he's got some sort of cringe solo pick in the back line. We still haven't seen anything of that caliber just yet, so maybe Snatty knew this would be the time to bring it out and really upset the Wargs. We'll have to see if anything standing out at us. Could be this. Could be the Thoth. Is this a solo Thoth? Probably not. Going to be for Tripno in the mid lane.
Good Lord, I hope it's not a solo Thoth. If we are at that point of the day where solo Thoth is what he is calling this secret pick, Lord, I hope not.
Well, we see the Sylvanas, and that is definitely an Elion pick, and immediately answered back is going to be that Heimdall. Pretty solid answer to the Vanis. You can just use the horn and the knockup and then teleport away from any sort of danger. And then Tiamat, I mean, we know what Angry's able to do on the Tiamat, and we've seen it a few times already. It's going to be a lot of damage and a lot of safety.
Tiamat plus Ho Yi to round out the roster for the Yomi Tanuki. That one will be going over in the hands of Hydrogen, who got to perform on that god a little bit earlier on in the day. And now as we jump into the bans, Dodgy, Osiris, both taken away by these two teams. And a Hun Bat, so a lot of focus on this jungle, obviously because neither team has had an opportunity to pick up their jungler.
Yeah, Sada Dragon is going to have to reach into the god pool here. The Kali, notably, is still available if you want to go towards this late game hyper carry in the jungle. Sada Dragon, I don't believe it's been playing it too much, obviously, since it was banned away a fair bit, and then the Osiris has taken also just a little bit of presence as well. Usually trying to go for the last pick jungle, I imagine, so Sada Dragon won't be forced into it. He doesn't want to. Could be grabbing Snatty's pick here as well. There's plenty of things open. Just going to be the Wukong, though, and that's something that Snatty played a fair bit in the regular season, and I can't say it's the cringe quote pick that he's been holding on to.
I think if it's something that you've been playing multiple times before in a regular season or in normal matchups, I can't imagine that that's the secret strat. Maybe it is, though. We don't know. At least until we hop into the game.
No, he said the pick. Like, he said we would know when we saw it.
And it sounds like it's something that was hidden, too, so something we haven't seen him play just yet. So if it is the Wukong, this game, that's definitely not the pick for him.
Then he's just a liar if it was the Wukong.
Like I said, he could have been deceiving us this entire time.
That's what I'm saying.
He could have been hyping this up from like minute 1, and now we're just looking like the fools because we keep bringing it up.
Well, I'd rather bring up the mystery of the possibility rather than just say like, oh, he picked Wukong, the god that's been around since,
forever.
Yeah, but Nemesis and King Arthur are going to be the answers back, so we are going to see just a traditional, possible just like double Bluestone matchup in the solo lane, something we don't get to see too often. Usually it's going to be, you know, one of these tankier Guardians going for the Bumbas build, or you're seeing one of these auto attack warriors. Now, though, just a double Bluestone Warrior matchup, and less of... nope, hold that thought. There's a Baka.
There is a Baka.
We have seen already so many of these jungles sort of lean towards the Golden Blade build. Baka was already going towards that Golden Blade build, so just farming very quickly, getting to camps as quickly as possible, going to be a great playstyle that Bakasura loves.
I mean, how do you feel about Baka as we kind of push towards the late game, though? You know, Baka typically known to get a lot of very early power farming on, can eat up those buff camps very easily. But then when it comes to the late game, maybe a little bit yet less utility into his kid. Obviously does have that cripple with the ultimate, but how valuable is Bakasura as a late game fighter?
I think it really depends on how well your tanks play. Obviously, if you catch someone out in the jungle, Bakasura can really 1v1 just about anyone if you catch that. But if you are able to just find someone in the late game where your tanks go in, get some dashes down, get some relics down, that's when Bakasura can really go in and start hard carrying. So it really just depends on, is Elyon hitting these big knockups and is Snatty in the backline just being a menace? I don't think Sad Dragon ever wants to be the first one into a fight.
Yeah, decent amount of sustain on the side of the Yomi Tanukis. They do have the Sylvanas for the team AoE. Then you have Bacchus and Wukong who have a little bit of their own self-sustain. We've been seeing maybe not so much, at least out of the warriors per se, but we have been seeing some heirs of that Soul Eater being built over into the solo lane. Do you think that that's something that maybe this Wukong can opt towards?
Yeah, you definitely could if you want to go for the hard carry style play that we've seen Snatty do so much, where you want to get some damage online, be tanky, but also just be able to like solo backliners. Soul Eater could definitely be on the cards, or even the Transcendence that we've seen a fair bit in these games as well. So a lot of different build styles you could go for on this Wukong, but being safe in lane, getting pressure, and then rotating in and just being a menace. That's what Snatty's trying to do here on this Wukong pick.
Do you imagine for the Wargs now coming off of a 3-game set, sure there's a little bit of tiredness coming from these guys because they've had to play those. Do you imagine coming in hot for this team right off of that win is a little bit more advantageous, or do you think that the Tanuki, who have had a little bit of time to rest and relax before this set, is going to be bigger for them?
I mean, I guess the question is, what did the Tanuki learn from sitting back and watching? Are they going to put that into practice, or is the break going to get to them and they'll come in a little bit slow and sluggish? I'm not quite sure. We don't know how these teams are going to handle the fatigue until they get into this match. I mean, some of these guys are just sitting there slamming rank queues for 7 hours a day, so maybe this won't phase them at all.
Better people than I don't think I could ever slam a 7-hour ranked queue session when it comes down to this. I mean, it's hard enough going through some of these 40-minute games out here. Meanwhile, we've been seeing a lot of 40 minutes for these players, a lot of 40-minute games for these teams, and probably more 40 minutes games to come. Game number 1 between the Wargs and the Tanuki starts right now.
We want to talk about 40-minute games going into game 1 here between the Wargs and the Tanuki.
Why is he saying that?
This is the first sub-20-minute game of the weekend.
Okay.
Right here, right now. See, it's all about willing it into existence. You know what I mean, Myth? It's about creating an atmosphere.
Yep.
For that type of event to occur.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Whatever you want, right?
You know what? So let's just stop casting at 18 minutes. Surely the game's
they're not
over.
going to play without us.
The game's over, right?
What time? It is 8:30, Dave. We're rapidly approaching a 12-hour broadcast.
And I love that we're starting off this cast with that, Myth. That means nothing but great things for the content we're about to output into the atmosphere.
I like that. Yeah, content. We are now content producing. We are no longer sharing analytical knowledge or breaking down the match.
I was never doing that. I was just yelling. And Myth, how do you describe my casting?
It's a lot of whoa, whoa, dude. That's it. Wow, you do a Dave often.
I do every once in a while. I have a little practice with that. All right, let's dive into some of that analytical. What'd you call it? Analytical
analysis. Analytical analysis.
And knowledge spreading, things like that. I want to start in the jungle here, Myth, because we have seen, actually going into this weekend, so much conversation around hunters being the picks. Now, they are strong, don't get me wrong. Later in the game, hunters still very, very strong. We've seen a lot of big plays from a lot of junglers so far this weekend, and we're still seeing these hyper carry style picks locked in.
Yeah, and I'm expecting a bit more action from Sarpei in particular. This Nemesis gonna have a much easier time getting involved, clearly, as Bakasura is struggling to even approach these waves. Now he's ticked over to level 2, Sada Dragon is gonna start up the hyper farm. That's all this Bakasura is for. Pick up that Golden Blade, start clearing out these jungle camps. Every camp you kill, gonna give you a little bit more attack speed, a little bit more movement speed, and that's generally what makes Bakasura so quick.
I already did one.
Nearly falls down. And we get a signature patented woe.
We get one Dave Shriek in the first minute and a half of this game. Now, if the pace continues the way it has, I don't know if we'll be getting many more Dave Shrieks throughout the next couple of minutes. Say again?
Sada Dragon's jump is just now coming back up. Surprised Angry doesn't commit a little bit more for that fight.
That's a full HP Tiamat.
Already down. Yeah, I mean, get in there, get involved, go auto attack that guy.
Nah, we don't do that around here.
No. Not for the first 15. Surely not.
You and Blazy had a pretty lengthy one earlier on today.
Yeah, 3 of them.
You guys, I meant lengthy early game. You guys got to kick back and just chat about SMITE.
We did.
For a little while, and just the fact that SMITE was happening on the screen and not a whole lot else. And I will say I was intrigued. I was talking to Ro about this on the desk a little bit. With one, I was genuinely wondering how the clashing of the styles was going to look this weekend with what I thought would be high octane North American style of SEC and slower, a little bit lower octane. You're buying the unleaded petroleum EU style SMITE.
I really like that.
Oh, appreciate it. But it really feels like I don't even know if it's the EU style at this point, it's just the style of SMITE. Blue buff invade, rarely going to be won up against a Bakasura. Blink away from Sada Dragon as well as a knock up onto Snatty. Sarpei gets the slow, but the bolt form from Snatty might just be enough. In fact, it is. But it feels like not only EU versus North American style, Miff, it's just been the style of the weekend where these games have slowed down.
Yeah, the growing pains of figuring out where you can allocate that aggression in the early game, especially with the wide sweeping changes of 9-5, probably affecting North America a little bit more so, as you said, Europe very much accustomed to the pacing that's been established
this week. Do you think that changes with SPL teams on Sunday as well as into next week?
I think SPL versus SCC probably a little bit quicker. SPL versus SPL I think has potential to be even longer.
Even longer.
It's so hard. These SPL teams, they don't make mistakes. And in these siege scenarios, sometimes it takes a mistake to crack the base. And, well, if that's not happening, they might just go a little long.
Yeah, that's true. You have to hope there's an opening shown by the opposing squad. Have seen a little bit of poking and prodding early on in game number 1 here between the Wargs and the Tanuki, a matchup that we already saw earlier on today. I expect a highly competitive set here. It's always going to be fun to watch the backs and forth of these teams in a best of 3, the way the drafts adapt, things like that throughout the course of a best of 3. Have seen a lot of these 2v2s in mid between junglers and mids in the first couple of waves, but Leon back on this Sylvanas will make a rotation from the duo lane. A pick that, if I'm remembering correctly, he played a little bit of in mid in the SEC at one point. Still liking it, though, over in support.
Yeah, and it fits his style. You can be that initiator. You can kind of play that flex style of, okay, I'll sit in the back line. I'll heal my boys up. I'll be that peel guy. So I think having that adaptability is really why Leon goes towards this pick. And generally, he's the type of guy who wants to be able to flex his mechanical prowess. And well, Sylvanas has one of the hardest to hit abilities in the game, so you better believe Leon is locking him in consistently. Sarpei lines up against Sada Dragon. Seems like this Bakasura wants to invade yet another blue buff.
Yeah, why not? Won the last one pretty cleanly. Ultimate down from Sarpei, ultimate down from Sada Dragon. Blue buff confirmed. Nearly a kill on the other end of it as well. The Tanuki able to push back the Niflheim Wargs from their own blue buff, and another successful invade for the red squad.
Yeah, I'm thinking the only way you're stealing anything away from Bakasura is with Hand of the Gods. You need to buy Hog. Otherwise, he's just going to eat it every single time. I like the idea from Sarpei. Like, I'm not out confirming you, but maybe I could do enough damage that you just don't want to stick around on the buff. Sada Dragon says, joke's on you, I'm willing to commit my ultimate, even 5 minutes in, onto a blue buff. And I think that's, again, nature of the god. Bakasura not necessarily one that needs to establish an early kill pace. Instead, all about that farm, and he's already found it.
Tripno able to secure the red buff at least, but under some pressure from Preds, who's been on this Umoja. And talk about Sylvanas on one side. Umoja has, I don't know if, it hasn't skyrocketed up priority, has just always sort of been towards the top.
Yeah, if she skyrockets, like, what is that, 100% appearance rate?
Right, 90% pick ban rate to 100. That's like a massive increase for Umoja. Remains towards the top of pick ban priority here this weekend for good reason. Umoja, bit of a do-it-all type attitude, River's Rebuke, Riptides, things like that. And then Sustain, we wondered how healing would factor in with these increased health pools, protections, things like that. Thank God we haven't seen this overwhelming presence of healers. We have seen a presence of Sarpei in duo, but an up and over should be enough. So Sarpé unhappy with how this has ended. Beads out on the slow. Oh, he broke his ankles. There's a Dave Woe in the first 6:23. And Hydrogen will survive. Sarpé at full HP. Has to be happy with no kills.
Yeah, major fumble there from Sarpé. That is a confirmed kill. As long as he is standing properly, all he has to do is not use the second dash.
Right,
that's the only thing he needs to do. He's already positioned himself between Hydrogen and the path to safety. No leap, no beads. But somehow, some way, breaks his ankles and Sarpé drops the kill.
Oh, we're still fighting here on right, though. How about that damage from Sada Dragon? Preds the Riptides away. Shell is out, but no knock-up from Angry on the other side.
Peel.
Preds peeled out, though, as Kana has rotated through, and Preds will Riptide out to safety. It has happened again, but for the opposing team this time, the Niflheim Wargs able to get out, but we fight on over in duo.
Leon and Hydrogen lined up against Sarpé and Spudio. Both Sarpé and Spudio completely on the left-hand side as Wu2 dives the tower. Spudio left alone, might just die alone. Double bounce confirms the kill and the first blood for Yomi Tanuki. Phenomenal play, but can it be returned elsewhere? Sada Dragon caught no man's land.
What do we do? This is not the kind of Smite we've been playing here today. The brawly across the map engagements. But the Yomi Tanuki, the ones able to come out ahead of those first initial scraps. 1,000 gold in the lead. And a kill in the back pocket of Hydrogen. Ho Yi. A strong pick later on in the game, as any hunter is right now. Maybe not any. Are there any hunters that are not good late in the game right now, Miff? Are you taking any hunter and thinking they're fine?
Well,
Cupid.
Some hunters are just going to be worse in the late game.
But they're all going to be a baseline level of good.
No matter what, they're all auto-attacking. It's just whether or not that hunter is capable of building kin size. Ho Yi is one of those. Like things like Uhl, late game, probably falling off pretty hard at 9-5.
But Hydrogen with first blood,
yeah,
going
and not
into the
playing
Wind
Uhl.
Demon, right? He's not Uhl, so a better start for the Yomi Tanuki. Gonna need more of that from Hydrogen and Leon, and a great rotation through, finally able to drop a kill. Feels like both teams have had opportunities. It ended up coming up just a bit short. I wonder how much continued pressure we see here in solo.
He's
from
just fighting.
Sada Dragon. Sarpé waiting on the other end, has ultimate, drops it. Sada Dragon holding on to the ult of his own, drops that on the head of Kana. But all the damage going into the Yomi Tanuki, Snatty and Sada Dragon both forced out of the fight. Niflheim Wargs come up empty-handed, unless a blink clap was over the horizon, but Sarpé thinks twice.
Yeah, Sarpé just playing very cautiously in that fight. Has he sticks in there, if he just plays with Kana, Golden Blade auto attacks on the regurgitated minions would have killed both Snatty and Sada Dragon. The AoE damage is all it would have taken, but Sarpé disengages himself. Kana gonna try and survive the re-dive. Sarpé unsuccessful in finishing that one off. Don't get confused, that's Wu2 on the chase. Actual Snatty very safe.
What's Wu2?
That's the clone,
too?
yeah.
Oh, I was going to tell you a story about my sister's graduation, but we'll avoid that for a second.
Wow.
There was, she went to the College of Worcester, and this is totally unrelated to anything that has to do with the
Is it going to tie into Wu2 somehow?
It is. She's class of 2022, and they would always just say Wu 22 for their graduating class, and that's what that made me think of. So congrats, Liz, on graduating. It is the final judgment charge, but put back into the back pocket. Preds wanders on away. So there has been continued presence from the Tanuki over here on the right side of the map, and that's kept Kana a bit delayed, able to go back and pick up this blue buff just fine. Stone of Gaia plus King Arthur myth, something that we saw plenty of a few updates ago.
A few years ago, it feels like.
Right? Hasn't been recent, but maybe still has its place in the game. Stun and ult down onto Snatty, but he will gallop away beneath the tier 1 tower. Sada Dragon vomits on Kana, and Snatty from range able to snag a kill.
Solo lane seems to be a misnomer, as it's been a 2v2 almost the entirety of this game, but one team benefiting much more so, and it's the squad that's picked up more blue buffs. Sada Dragon now 2 levels up on his opposition. Snatty got 1 level onto Kana. I think the Niflheim Wargs, if they want to keep fighting, probably shouldn't be around that solo. Sun Wukong already incredibly difficult to kill, with Soul Eater even more difficult. Put your aggression somewhere else. Sarpé would have a much easier time trying to shut down Hydrogen or catching out Leon in the jungle, or maybe stopping Tripno before he's allowed to full stack his build. Charon's coin in the first slot, he's going to be scaling pretty quickly.
Sada Dragon finishes up the Golden Blade into the Hastened Katana, and so the Bakasura will be an extra level of obnoxious here over the next couple of minutes. Actually very surprising that there's only been one kill picked up over on the right side of the map. Feels like that's where 90% of our fighting has been happening. But remember the other kill earlier on, Hydrogen and Leon, able to grab one onto Spudio. Blue buff looked at by Snatty, but a rare casual blue buff pickup for Kana will help this King Arthur cauterize some of those wounds. I think luckily for Spudio, things have slowed down a bit over here on the left side of the map. Leon starting to rotate his way out. And we finally reached that point, Myth. I think we've been lucky that a couple kills have dropped in the first few minutes, but like too early for the Gold Fury, maybe too early for the Pyromancer, and you kind of stabilize for a couple minutes.
Yeah, but I think Pyromancer is just going to replace the Gold Fury of old.
That's no the longer, early objective.
Yeah, we're no longer is it, okay, 10 minutes in, we found a pick, let's go to Gold, because Gold Fury is just so much stronger in 9-5 that Pyromancer is a lower commitment that's got similar levels of reward, and you get to play around your soul laners, who are generally feeling pretty decent at this portion of the game. Feels like the Niflheim Wargs and the Yomi Tanuki are just fine to leave the duo lane to itself. These ADCs are having fun.
Red's pulled from range by Leon as a Trebuchet will not go through the Riptide. I was hoping that there would be a
Dude, imagine.
just be flung through the Riptide. So I paused for a second. Didn't end up happening. Hydrogen receiving a gank. Sarpei blinks through it. No chance for Hydrogen and an answer back for the Niflheim Wargs, but the Tanuki have an answer to an answer, and it's on the Pyromancer.
Hydrogen holds on to both of his relics, so even in getting ganked out, Sarpei feels just fine in this fight. But that does open up the door on the left-hand side of the map. Yomi Tanuki may have taken the Pyro, but that age-old answer still remains. Niflheim Wargs find the kill in the duo, take the Gold Fury. That said, taking a peek at the charts, not many things have changed. It's still relatively even.
Yeah, not much. 500 gold, 1,000 or so experience. Mike just brought us water. Do you think that's him looking out for us, or do our voices sound bad? And so he brought, what do you think of this?
Well, I'm thinking even if my voice is raw right now, it's like morning voice. That's like a +2 to your charisma stat.
It's cold.
Yeah, I almost highlighted you. I really almost did.
Choking on water?
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to help, but I was ready.
That would have been horrible. We thought our voice
would have been really bad.
It would have been yeah, literally the air coming out of my mouth would have been just horrific. So I'm glad you didn't do that. I'll assume it's that Mike was just looking out for us, and we sound silky smooth as always here on the mic.
Surely.
Couldn't be anything else. The Tanuki do lose the Gold Fury, but again, pick up that Pyromancer, keep the game a bit stabilized where we're at. Sarpei going for a build that was reserved for Hunters a couple of years ago, minus the Golden Blade, of course, but the Icavale start was so popular for a little while, and Sarpei, maybe with some of that scrapping that's been going on, feels like it's a value item.
Yeah, Icavale had fallen off pretty significantly as nerfs had rolled through and kind of removed it from the ADC pool, but looking at what Sarpei is lined up against, Icavale will find value not only against Sada Dragon, but Hydrogen as well. Will struggle in those 1v1s, and Nemesis likes her matchup against both.
Well, ultimate down onto Sada Dragon, but the Bakasura not able to return as much damage. Sarpei dash 1 or 2 down, unsure. Looks like that was the second charge of it, and Sada Dragon won't be able to limp away as Preds deals the literal last inch of damage, and the kills now back to even. That was another attempted blue buff pressure from the Tanuki, this time read well.
This time, though, Sada Dragon loses his life as well, so Sarpei, who was 2 levels down just a moment ago, has evened that up. You strip away the beads and the blink from Sada Dragon, so his efficacy and aggression has taken a major hit, which likely means Kana's going to get at least 1 more blue buff in the next 5 minutes. I believe he's got 4 throughout the duration of this match. But now the gold is starting to slip in favor of the Order side, and I think that was the team composition that I'm favoring come late game between Sarpei's matchup into a Bakasura. No way Bakasura legitimately wins that 1v1 in the late. He's got no way to deal with Nemesis' shield. You really got to evaluate how strong Tiamat is in this split push style of meta. I'm thinking if the dances around Fire Giant are going to go as long as previous sets, spawning up some Scorpions on the opposite side of the map might be one way to tip the scales in your favor. So I like Angry's odds in these late game team fights as well. But as always, and it's something I wasn't expecting to say, it feels like soul laners have been dictating these late game team fights in every single set so far. I know the memes, Warriors aren't so good anymore. It feels like we're not as tanky as we once were. We can't find the kills.
They had a really bad year last year. They weren't able to play on land together. But
yeah.
But now the Warriors,
God. Shut up,
the Warriors have been able to get together. They finished 3rd in Phase 1.
That's pretty cool. We'll see them later.
We will see them. Not today, unfortunately.
No.
the silky smooth locks of Neilma can
Wait for another day.
Make any heart beat. Not even another day. We like a week.
Yeah, like another week probably. That's like 2 days. It's Friday.
Oh, and I don't even get to see him. But might not see Spudio much longer. But he will get out.
Oh my God.
From the 3-man rotation, Hydrogen can go up and over here, but the tower blocking the auto attacks. Ultimate away. El Leon gets the root and has the damage. Gotta finish off that kill. On the flip side, though, Snatty up into the somersault cloud and then ulted by Kana in exchange. Beads used, and the Tanuki will keep all 5 members on the map.
Yeah, Sarpe seems to refuse to play anywhere than with his boy Kana on the right-hand side. Pred's now left alone to his devices on the left, trying to defend this Tier 1 tower. And Tier 1 tower pushes have gone up in value, in my mind. Not the gold you receive, not the experience you receive, but just the ability to strip that away from the map, considering how much more powerful towers are in 9-5, means that if the Niflheim Wargs were there in numbers, it's difficult to siege even at the 25 or so minute mark when you're trying to siege with Fire Giant, with kills. So might as well clear it out now. And if you are able to pick up a Fuego Grande a little bit later on, Tier 2's a little bit easier. I took Spanish 101.
Is that how? Yeah, I suppose that it's literally Fire Giant.
Yeah.
No, Grande is just big.
Okay, man. Fuego Gigante. What do you want from me?
Yes, that's it.
I made that up. That could have been just in very poor taste.
No, I actually think you're right.
Nice.
I took AP Spanish. I should know that.
You should.
But I've been so many years out of use. One of my favorite stories is a group of friends and I went to visit Spain, and I was the only one there who was like in Spanish in the time at high school. And I was like, yeah, I totally got this, guys. I can order us some food. And like everyone got the wrong food brought out to them. I was like, don't worry, I can do this. And they didn't rely on me for anything else. But we have seen a whole lot of this, haven't we, Miff? Sarpe ulting Sada Dragon. Beads used, but does not matter. Sada Dragon will escape within an inch of his life. And that's a great microscope moment at something you hinted to earlier, like just not winning that 1v1. That is a handedly big. That's totally not the right way to use that. A large win for the Nemesis.
Easily.
Easily. For free. A grande win for the Nemesis. And so when left alone in a 1v1 later on in the game, Sada Dragon's really got to pick and choose those fights.
He has. I mean, there's really no way Bakasura takes the 1v1. If he turns at any point to sync autos back into Sarpe, Sarpe presses 3 and legitimately heals and reflects more damage. Even Regurgitate, we saw it there. One auto attack cleared out every single minion that guy could spit up. Sada Dragon, he's not going to pick his fights with Sarpe. He's going to pick his fights with somebody else, anybody else.
Yeah, he is picking to not fight. That's his active choice. Is not engage in a 1v1. That said, the rest of the game dead even here as we approach the 20-minute mark. Just how both of these teams would like it, give or take.
I think they'd like to have a lead, both of them.
Well, then get a lead. build up a lead, why don't you?
Yeah, stop sitting on your hands here and get out there and get something done.
Your haunches, sitting on the laurels. What was
something?
What was Little Miss Muffet sitting on?
Who?
Little Miss Muffet.
Whoomst?
In the nursery rhyme, she sat on her tuffet eating curds and whey.
I've never heard that, and that's the cultural gap between us.
I'm about to cry. You never heard that one?
What do you? Yeah, I had like the Itsy Bitsy Spider growing up.
That is the same vein of nursery rhymes.
Yeah, and like Little Bo Peep.
Yeah, you know,
I'm just naming nursery rhymes. You can't say they're in the same vein.
Little Miss Muffet, Little Bo Peep, Itsy Bitsy Spider, all the same. The fact that you've missed one is a failure because they're all from
Humpty
the same.
Dumpty, the London Bridge,
the Herculean Hoops.
The Herculean Hoops. You know what that stands for?
I don't. Hydrogen knows what Ultimate stands for, and it means I gotta run away. The Ultimate drops onto Sarpe, Beads, and A gets used, but El Leon looking for the root won't grab it, but will he grab a member of the Niflheim Wargs? No, Spudio able to buy Frost away. And so the Tanuki not shying away from answers, but it's really been Sarpe dropping the ult, looking for the picks, and at least forcing some relics.
Yeah, it just feels like that nobody's got the great answer to this Nemesis right now. As long as El Leon is around, he can deal with the shield with the ultimate, and he can potentially set up for a kill. But if El Leon is not in the fight, Sarpe can essentially play however he wants. That's the kryptonite. If you're a Yomi Tanuki fan and you're worried about the rampage Sarpe has been on for the last 21 minutes, put your hands in the air and pray that Leon is nearby to peel out. And that's exactly what happens there. Hydrogen uses both relics, and Sarpe saying to himself, all right, free smoke. Leon turns the corner, Sarpe leaves.
Decent little stun on Takana here, but not quite enough damage just yet. That is a pretty tanky King Arthur, a few items into this build. Now Spectral Armor seemingly right on time for Kana, because Hydrogen, who was just mitigated, Wind Demon, Silver Branch, and Deathbringer, all will just ping off of that Spectral Armor, and Kana continues to just walk forward and will spin his way out just fine. In the meantime, Sarpe 1v1ing a tower on left, and he will win that one. So a little extra gold filters its way back to the Wargs.
Yeah, Sarpe is just making things happen everywhere, but that's a good concentrated team effort. The Niflheim Wargs generate a scenario where Sarpe can go to split push by grouping up his 4 and pressuring that mid-tier 1 tower. Yomi Tanuki forced to respond, group up, and, well, they're not there to defend the tier 1. That's a high-value pickup for the Niflheim Wargs. That said, neutral objectives have respawn. Pyromancer and Primal Fury both up. It's a little bit harder to kill Primal Fury. Pyromancer probably the option both teams are looking for. Primal would pay you a little bit more, though, considering Fire Giant is very quickly becoming appetizing. Spuddio and Sarpe team up. They'll burn this pretty quick.
Primal Fury will be melted through by the Wargs with no answer from the Yomi Tanuki. Was a Pyromancer up on right, but there will be no objective answer either for the Tanuki. I do want to make a quick callback. Production has helped us out here. A tuffet is a tuft or clump of something, i.e. a tuffet of grass. So that Lil Miss Muffet was just like sitting on a clump of dirt or something like that.
That poor lady.
But she was eating her curds and whey, so she was just fine. And we
No, that's peasant food, my guy.
I eat like 6 scoops of whey a day.
Yeah, you're like a gym bro. I don't think Miss Muppet was.
Muffet.
Oh, my bad.
Look, curds and whey is a solid gym food, you know? She was getting after it. She was sitting on her tuffet, resting between sets of bench.
350-pound PR, no problem. Kana, though, in a little bit of trouble, has a problem himself. We'll have to walk away.
Yeah, you're right. I got to recenter here.
Yeah, there's a Fire Giant dance.
There's a Fire Giant dance happening. Well, Snotty didn't get the message. Snotty's on the FG, but the rest of the Tanuki on the Pyro. Sarpe on a gank way around the backside of the Tanuki here. As an ultimate from Spuddio connects, Sarpe can find the backline with ease, but looks like the Tanuki know where he's at. Snotty left alone on an island. Somersault Cloud up and left is the only exit. And exit left is exactly what Snotty does. And Sarpe has to blink away. Thought was getting a free gank, but instead now under a bit of threat. So Pyromancer, the answer back from the Tanuki.
Yikes.
River's Rebuke gets nothing.
Yeah, he rebuked all of that wall, and that's essentially all he does with it. Maybe just regenerating some Omi. Tier 1 tower, though, still will fall down. The Niflheim Wargs able to take yet another one. Yomi Tanuki had just used too much in that team fight. Tripno, Satadragon, and Snatty forced to use their ultimates, aren't grouped up, and Sarpe does what Sarpe does, and that's push the left-hand side. Tier 1 earlier falls down. Tier 2 dropped to 50%.
Hydrogen grabs a kill onto Angry to blink back through now from Leon. Gets a pull onto Kana. But again, that's a really tanky King Arthur. Sarpe on left, scrapping out. Will pick up a kill, but then ends up dropping to Snatty on the other side. The Tanuki have picked up a couple of kills in the last 30 seconds or so. Another pull. This time good from Leon. Knock up onto Preds. Is there enough damage, though? There are some body blocks. The Riptide brings Snatty back beneath the Tier 1 tower a bit further than he was hoping for. And the Somersault Cloud out and away. Nothing to scoff at, these Tier 1 towers.
Whoa!
Nearly a picked up kill onto Preds. The Tanuki will grab it and head on back.
Yeah, that shell would have likely not saved his life, but uses the relic regardless. Tripno, not quite on the mark with his own ultimate, but Yomi Tanuki needed that switch around, needed that momentum boost to be able to take out a Tier 1 tower. Now, both Tier 2s in mid and left exposed for both teams means that once Fire Giant does eventually fall down, both teams will have avenues in to go for these higher priority structures. That said, if the fight's going to continue going the way they have, if the lead is going to remain as small as it has, that Fire Giant might be a ways off.
Yep.
Have to evaluate what that dance looks like, though, and I'd argue the Niflheim Wargs should have an advantage insofar as burn. This Nemesis has a pretty decent build for dealing with neutral objectives. Spuddio already moving in towards that Deathbringer, and then you've got Angry as that consistent damage. But the Yomi Tanuki are not out of objective fight. They have confirmation, and they've got it in spades. Tripno is uncontested in damage output. Nothing comes with even in 60% of the damage output of a Thoth ultimate. So Tripno can play a little bit later with it. He can use it a little bit later on and go for the more dedicated confirmation.
60% doing that math on the fly, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that nobody's fact-checking me.
No chance.
Surely not.
Way too much math to be involved in that. When you approach the 26 or so minute mark, the game's effectively dead even. You got to feel comfortable around any of these objectives if you're both of these teams. But that's often when the game will slow down. You don't want to make the mistake that ends the game a bit later on. Snatty, we've talked plenty about the tankiness of Kana. Snatty also having a great game on this Sun Wukong, tanky enough in that build as well. Soul Eater for some damage. Unbelievable what just happened.
I checked my watch and spilled my water.
Yeah, Miff's holding his water in his left hand and checked his watch and spilled it all over himself. That is unreal.
Well, surely it dries up by the time this game ends. We've got, like, what, 10 more minutes at least?
It takes like 20 minutes for water to dry, so I think
yeah, we're good.
You're on a good pace. But the Wargs could speed things up a bit with a fire giant. I can't believe that. That's like straight out of a comedy.
Man, it's real high-res hours. I'm really turning into Three Stooges right now.
And you were checking what hour it was exactly.
Yeah, I had to know.
Yeah, unfortunate. The Wargs, though, don't start up the fire giant over on right. There's a Fury starting up on left, a much easier objective to look for at 27 or so minutes with the game as close as it is, much less risky, willing to give up a little bit more for an FG, but the Primal Fury now pulled. Do the Tanuki answer? They gotta go quickly if they want to. Primal Fury is absolutely destroyed by the Wargs. Over in mid, though, Kana did not get the disengage message. Is gonna get run down, turns around and accepts his fate from Snatty. The Tanuki lose the Fury, but grab themselves a kill.
A massive commitment from the Tanuki cost them 4 ultimates just to shut down Kana. Does buy them 50 seconds, and Leon holds on to his.
Speeds used by Angry, though, to avoid the knockup. Reds sends the Riptide to his feet and sends himself away. And away goes the Umoja. Don't tell me Mike, bro. I thought he brought you more water. Don't get him more water. You're going to spill it or something like that.
All over Mike's stage.
All over Mike's stage. Yomi Tanuki. I was wondering how the Tanuki would capitalize on the one pick that they were able to get. Long enough death timer, Miff, and strong enough as far as item build goes. Knock down a tier 2 tower. Not an immediate fire giant call, though still can double back for it.
I think so. They're still incredibly healthy. Those ultimates are coming back up. And looking at the relic usage from Yomi Tanuki, they are still powerful. The only relic loss is El Leon's Blink. So if the Yomi Tanuki can force the Niflheim Wargs to face check this objective now, as Kana has just respawned, it's still a 5 versus 4. Pyromancer dropped low, is taken by the Tanuki. Niflheim Wargs will not take that bait and instead play it cautiously. Now the Tanuki find themselves in a very difficult situation of, all right, we just took a lot of towers, we took another objective, we want to head back to base, but if we do, maybe the Wargs are just pulling the fire giant. The Wargs make that an easier question by going back to base themselves. Tanuki spot that out and realize they've got an opportunity to spend up their gold. That said, not a very large gold deficit, about 1,000. Separating these two squads 30 minutes in, that's just wards. Maybe like an upgraded relic.
And that's just the way the games have been going here this weekend, Miff. Not much separating these teams around that 30-minute mark. Although, no, that's a lie. We've seen
last game was like a 16,000 gold diff.
And regardless, we're still kind of cresting this 29, 30-minute mark or so. A napkin plus more water from Mike.
Stop reporting on what I'm doing over here.
I have to. And I can only hope that I'm doing a good enough job of describing it that a fraction of the...
This water is so full. He trusts me too much.
Yeah, you shouldn't. And you put it right back in the hand that your watch is on. That is a bold...
I'm left-hand dominant.
And so am I. But when we hear a burst of static and no more words from Miff, just know that he's dumped water all over himself again. So many of the first fire giants we've seen this weekend have just been enhanced with the pacing of some of these games. Leon wants to get the fighting started, and how about an engage on Angry?
Still
who's
alive.
Forced to use the Aegis and won't survive for much longer on the other end. The Tanuki have already found 2 picks. Snatty unable to participate in this fight, and the health bars just fine for the Yomi Tanuki. It got solo, support, and ADC if you're the Wargs, and you're going to have to contest an FG.
These last couple of team fights have 100% been initiation diff. Luckily for the Niflheim Wargs, that initiation has already been expended. Fire Giant, though, similarly expended, enhanced at that. Yomi Tanuki now 5 strong against 3 of the Niflheim Wargs for the next 30 seconds. This is going to be a quick power play. Yomi Tanuki are not resetting, and instead won't even allow Preds to reset himself. 50% HP and an already 3 versus 5. The Wargs going to have a very hard time regrouping. Luckily, 2 Tier 2 towers still standing means that the Tanuki are likely only going to be able to take 1 Phoenix on this siege.
Yep.
Could fall back, go for the Tier 2s now, 8 seconds away from the nearest respawn. Instead, though, Tanuki pretty happy with this pacing. Don't want to flub I would say 99%er, but it feels like all the games have been so back and forth
who knows,
nowadays,
right?
It's hard to say.
At some point, who knows? It's like a dream scenario, though. You get the FG, you're able to get a Phoenix, and then you get to go back, spend up some gold, and wait, can you rotate? Show us your knee.
No. Just no.
All right, there's water on his knee. He's unhappy with doing so. Nif and I are doing just fine here. Don't you worry. But now,
Where is this camera on? Oh, it's cam 2. Okay.
Is that camera face? When did we detracted from camera face? And it
We
makes me
literally held a vote, man. It's Camia.
Don't laugh at the camera's name. It's right there.
so- That's-
We had a vote.
Nah,
Chat chose that.
I'm holding out. Chat, you're wrong.
Oh my God.
You're wrong, Chat. That's just unacceptable. The Tanuki, as I was saying, able to go back, spend up some of that gold, regroup, already knocked down a Phoenix, and now hit those big item power spikes as they have finally taken over this game. Not 5 minutes ago we were dead even, and suddenly the Tanuki on the precipice of knocking this game over, knocking the Titan of the Wargs over with maybe just one more fight. Still, 2 minutes on the buff, but looks like a Phoenix siege, not in the minds of the Tanuki just yet.
Yeah, Tanuki have got strong siege potential, though, as long as Tripno is able to apply his damage. So, instead, they're not going to use it. There's still plenty of time, as you said, 2 minutes left on this enhanced Fire Giant, 1 Tier 2 tower still standing, and a Trebuchet being escorted by Sada Dragon down the center of the map.
What did you just say?
Escorted.
Okay, good.
What did you think I said?
You said escorted.
You're taking me for granite right now, bro.
You are rock solid.
I
You've been
am
eating
not.
your curds and whey.
Okay. Just like Mary Popeep.
Oh my God. We have to do at least one more of these, buddy. I don't know. We'll get there. All right, a Trebuchet. Finally, I've been hoping for this. A Trebuchet to make a difference on a Phoenix Siege because, though it will be slow, somebody from the Wargs at some point is going to have to step up and have something to say to this Trebuchet, but not dealing as much damage as I was hoping it would to this Phoenix.
Well,
Come
hold on,
on,
let's see
chunk
it.
it.
That's
over
not
time,
nothing.
over time, yes, but angry from a range can poke it out. All right, that was less impactful than I was hoping for. Did make the Wargs think twice, but a lot of damage dealt to this left side Phoenix as there was an uncontested push just a moment ago. These are the minion waves that you're kind of waiting for, though, if you're the Tanuki.
Good God,
Though
man.
we haven't seen this in a little while. Sarpei getting the better of the 1v1. Sada Dragon's going to have to rejoin the rest of his team.
He will, and rejoin or retreat to. I suppose it's all in the diction this time. Sada Dragon just on the retreat. That said, on the left side of the map, Snatty has taken a lot of damage. Still has the ultimate available.
Natty up into the somersault. Cloud River's Rebuke used over in mid as well. 3 ultimates down from the Niflheim Warg. Spudio still has his ultimate as a few Fire Oni waves walk their way into the Titan. Oh, that's massive damage from the
low.
Niflheim Wargs onto the back line of the Yomi Tanuki. If there is a time, it is now. Bakana won't be able to punch the clock. Hydrogen sets him down. Sarpei into the back line, though, has added some damage. Not enough just yet. Snatty able to disengage from Spudio for the time being. A stun, a pull, a root, all of it sends Preds to the
my
grave
God.
as Hydrogen's got a double. Hunter's feeling just fine at 35 minutes.
The carries of the Niflheim Warg still draw breath healthily, 100% HP on the 2 remaining. It takes about 20 seconds to walk from fountain to fountain, so the Yomi Tanuki, even if they do reset and
We
walk
go on.
all the way across, I mean, that's still 10 seconds left with Kana dead, but with no Fire Giant barreling back towards the earth in about 40 seconds, I think it's more likely that we see ourselves to one more Fire Giant dance if the Tanuki take it, and potentially a couple more if the Niflheim Wargs will be able to regroup. That said, the Wargs from the precipice are able to maintain all of their birds, if only barely, right and center. About 1 or 2 auto attacks from falling away. Left side has regenerated as much as it will. The Niflheim Wargs on the respawn, I think, have got the opportunity to put up a defense as long as they can slow down Yomi Tanuki. They need to be able to make sure they survive.
Spuddy, oh my goodness, what is that damage? Final Judgment. Woo. Chunks down angry for half of his HP, and that's with 5 seconds left on the Fire Giant respawn. Or 0 seconds left on the Fire Giant respawn. The Yomi Tanuki able to chunk down the carries of the Wargs, but it's not an immediate FG pull. Kana was looking very tanky earlier on. Now taking a little bit more chunk damage than I think the King Arthur had been expecting over the last couple of minutes. Enhanced Fire Giant, of course, at 36 minutes. Pulled now by the Yomi Tanuki, and my goodness,
Burning.
It is getting shredded. Preds walks forward, and the Wargs will not steal it away. The Yomi Tanuki confirm the EFG.
See ya.
Put an ultimate down from Sarpei. Will snag a first kill. The second, though, return on Angry.
Whoa.
River's Rebuke is huge, and suddenly the Niflheim Wargs have some life in this game. Sarpei claps Leon into the grave, and the Wargs lose the FG, but they find 3 kills.
Niflheim Wargs 4 strong, should be able to take down at least one tier 2 tower. Will not collect the minion wave first, so they will be contending with backdoor protection. Yomi Tanuki, on the other hand, will not. Snatty, if left alone, could take down this Phoenix. He's going for it.
Whoa.
I'm not sure that Preds could stop him.
Are their backs being channeled? Yes.
Oh, he's got it.
Sada Dragon is the one backing. The rest of the Niflheim Wargs headed to the base of the Yomi Tanuki. There's always the threat of a play like that. Remember, Sarpei is here, doesn't have ultimate. Sada Dragon also does not have ultimate. And so it looks like Phoenix for the Tanuki is the only Phoenix that's going to go down. And the Niflheim Wargs will have to go back and reset.
I love that play from Snatty. Just keeps the Niflheim Wargs guessing on where they're allowed to aggress. If Snatty just resets to base, it's a 2 versus 3 on the right side Phoenix. But in going for mid Phoenix, not only does he take the structure, but he forces them to continually guess. I love it. It's just clean performance, just a clean decision-making process. I would love to know who makes that shot call. Gotta assume it's just Snatty himself. Yomi Tanuki, still nursing a pretty large gold lead. Doesn't matter, 38 minutes in, outside of finishing up some of these last couple relics, maybe looking towards some potions of power, some elixirs as well. Ooh. That said, the Niflheim Wargs similarly are very strong and have got the majority of their relics fully upgraded.
Ooh. Is this how the game ends, with a initiation?
No.
No. No, we're going to sit on our tuffets for another couple of minutes until the Fire Giant respawns, you'd think. Snatty and Sada Dragon still have it. Fire minions pushing down mid. I don't know. I mean, if you're the Tanuki, you've got Enhanced Fire Giant on 2. Are you making an effort for a Phoenix here over the next couple of minutes, or are you fine kind of resting and regrouping, hoping to get it on all 5?
Because of who the Enhanced Fire Giant is on, I think the play I would call in this situation is have Yomi Tanuki 4-stack, Sada Dragon, Tripno, Eleon, and Hydrogen, likely on the left side of the map, and then you can have Snatty act as soul split push. He doesn't have to worry about the 1v1 against Sarpei very much, and if he's left alone, we've seen how quickly Snatty can deal damage to these Phoenixes. With Enhanced Fire Giant, he doesn't have to worry about those backdoor protections. Instead, though, seems to be a soft 5-on-5 engagement. Snatty, Sada Dragon trying to figure out exactly where they want to put their pressure. I don't love the Yomi Tanuki's odd in a true 5-on-5 against a Phoenix with that unofficial 6-man.
Whoa, Sada Dragon taking the 1v1, but Sarpei coming up a bit short. Both junglers send their ultimates down. Remember, Sada Dragon has that Enhanced Fire Giant buff. He'll be able to heal right on up.
Yikes.
Snatty can't get into the somersault cloud and absolutely evaporates under the damage of Angry. And now Kana has an initiation on a Tripno, a crit on to the Thoth, sends another one to the grave. A minute and 55 seconds or so on the respawn timer for the Enhanced Fire Giant, but will we get there? A couple big picks for the Wargs.
Yeah, the Tanuki just getting a little bit trigger happy, a little bit gung-ho around that left side.
That was my
Phoenix.
first Xbox gamer tag, by the way. Trigger happy.
Really? That's pretty sick. How old were you?
I was like middle school.
Okay.
with a 3 in the middle of it instead of an E.
Way less cool. Maybe cooler for the time. Niflheim Wargs feeling very cool right now. Great transition, Mifflin. As Snatty and Tripno are both dead for 20 seconds, the Wargs knocking on the base door.
Wow, if you're the Tanuki here, yeah, you got to be careful. If you lose
He's hitting for
anyone
400.
else, yeah, you might just lose the game. So I think giving up the mid lane Phoenix, realizing that the opposing mid lane Phoenix also down, not the worst Phoenix in the world to end up losing. Okay for the Tanuki to give up. You don't love giving it up, but not horrendous going into the Enhanced Fire Giant that just now falls off. Last couple members of the Tanuki, and we'll be respawning in about a minute. Primal Fury up. And Miff, dare I say, we go into the 41-minute Enhanced Fire Giant just about even.
just about dead even. That said, map state will favor the Niflheim Wargs. Sure, mid-Phoenix down for both, but that's for one more wave maybe. And then those 5 mini waves that have already been pushed up towards the center of the map will favor the Wargs. So if the Wargs, again, could just slow down this Fire Giant siege from Yomi Tanuki, they'll be able to leverage that map pressure. So the Yomi Tanuki find themselves in a position where they want to go for the Fire Giant, and they want to go for it very quickly. The longer this fight takes around this dance, around this neutral objective, the more it's going to favor the Order side.
Yomi Tanuki, though, have been the ones asking a lot of questions here as of late. Niflheim Wargs close by. Oh, like, the
We are
Wargs.
going to get tossed so hard, man.
Yeah,
Let me
no.
just fix your shirt a little bit.
God. Oh God!
There we go.
I stepped on my own cable. That's bad on me. That's. What does that even mean? We're getting fired?
Us?
Yeah, is that what you just said?
What, we're getting tossed?
Oh,
terms of service, yeah.
I thought you meant you and I are
We're
getting
getting
like
physically thrown. We're the 2 largest people that work at this company.
Yeah,
There's
we're throwing
nobody
ourselves. We're throwing ourselves out. Yomi Tanuki have been asking a lot of questions, but the Niflheim Wargs have had answers around these team fights. Sarpei, again, this is something Sarpei tried a little bit ago around an FG, but was unsuccessful, and actually ended up having to blink away the 20 minutes ago that we saw that play happen. With the Primal Fury, the Niflheim Wargs feeling a little bit more comfortable around the enhanced Fire Giant. Kana takes some chunk damage. Sarpei way around to the backside of this fight. Tripno and Hydrogen have both of their actives. Spuddio, though, into the Bifrost, taken down by Tripno. There's no more ADC for the Niflheim Wargs. There is no more mid laner, though, for the Yomi Tanuki, as the gank from Sarpei ends up paying off and grouping together from the Yomi Tanuki. Opens up all of the cleave damage for Angry to rip through the health bars of the Yomi Tanuki. But now Angry, the last one alive alongside Pred. Snatty gets the stun. A jump in from Angry and a double kill from the Tiamat.
Leon, the only one still standing up against Angry, who's got a good deal of mana and HP coming back to him with the help of Preds. Fire Mini Wave already knocking on the door of the mid-Phoenix. Niflheim Wargs want to go for the end. They've got a whole lot of time to play with. Leon, he hits for 26. I don't know if he can do it.
Get another 26.
Get him, Leon.
He can delay, right? I mean, he can pull out some of the minions.
He's stopping the minion
Titan
wave.
is pretty tanky.
This is the best he can
20
do.
seconds on Tripno. Leon gets a double knockup back
He's
to
done
the
a lot.
fountain. He will go, but the Niflheim Wargs not happy. They will continue to walk forward. 10 seconds on Tripno. The fire minions there. No chance.
Wow.
They've got enough damage to end this game, and the Niflheim Wargs will walk away.
Leon takes the only winning line for his team. If that minion wave gets in towards the Titan, there is no recourse. There's nothing this Sylvanas could have done. But in holding these 2 at the Phoenix line, he buys enough time for the rest of his team to respawn. He buys enough time for the mid-Phoenix to respawn. Dave, dare I say it, 44 minutes into this game, we are approaching an enhanced Fire Giant
Someone call
from
911.
a completely even state. Nothing separating these 2 teams. Mid-Phoenix is
Whoa.
both respawned.
Oh my God.
One more fire minion wave to deal with. This could be it. One dead even dance to dictate the game, unless we have another miraculous defense.
Here's the good news for everyone at home who's enjoying this awesome casting by us and the players and everyone who loves this
I like
caliber
that you
of
gave
Smite.
us credit first.
Yeah, I have to. You know, just a moment ago,
We are carrying.
I was model laying on the ground in front of the camera. We're doing a great job. This is game 1, right? So the pressure, of course, on to get yourself ahead in this best of 3 set.
The most important game.
The pressure can't lay that heavily where you're going to be so tense you make a mistake. You want to take the game into your own hands at this point and get yourself on the front foot here in this best of 3 sets. Sarpei hoping to catch
Is he
a
gonna try and
member
backdoor?
of the Tanuki unaware. No, I mean like the Phoenix maybe, right? You're not
Yeah, no,
killing
he can't, he's not killing the Titan.
You're not killing the Titan on his own. Walks back behind the minion wave, so it will be a Phoenix take
Oh, he's got it.
by Sarpei. But can the Tanuki find an initiation while the jungler is gone? That's exactly what Satadraga is looking for. Mid lane Phoenix taken by Sarpei, and no kills for the Tanuki to have.
And Sarpei now in great position to pincer Yomi Tanuki.
gotta know
All he
he's
has to
here.
do, he's just got to sheepdog him. He's just got to lead him into his own team. Instead, though, decides to run away. his team's not close by enough that he's going to generate the threat, that he can survive that engagement. So instead, the Yomi Tanuki now, with a map state disadvantage, approach the enhanced fire.
And the ebbs and flows of this game for Sarpe. Far ahead, far behind.
That's a good wall.
Now makes a big play happen. Walls up from Preds, walls down. As the Tanuki are able to backpedal away. Big pull in onto Preds, double knockup. As Kana is caught into it as well.
One.
And Hydrogen deletes the Yamocha. Sarpe, though, again into the backline, has gotten a kill onto Tripno. No kills have been left unanswered. And we'll get a moment to breathe and sit on our tuffets while we have a pause here. What a time for there to be a pause. Go ahead.
I was going to talk about the game.
Oh, by the way,
I want to do tuffets.
I do want to do tuffets. One more time for the last time. Corrected again that a tuffet is also a low footstool or foot rest or something like that. So that's likely.
You like the positioning of my legs here? It's the
you're hiding the the water spill.
Now. Oh, it's
that's
been 20 minutes, Dave.
Let's talk. You're right, and it's dry. So let's talk about the state of the game here, Miff, because it's been a lot of initiation and opening kills from the Tanuki. And then Sarpe finding the back line for an answer back.
Yeah, Sarpe is just a precision scalpel in these team fights. Goes in, removes one key target, be it a Phoenix, be it Tripno. This time it's both. Phenomenal plays from the jungler so far. He's been doing just about everything for his team, barring actually just killing the Titan. He might do it. The game could still go on, but this has been wild. That said, I would argue Sarpe should not have been allowed to get away with the play that he just made, considering Precision Scalpel went between 4 members to slaughter Tripno.
Right? I mean,
he is precise, but surely you're getting caught out on the way back. Once we get back from the pause, we'll see whether or not Leon and the boys can shut down Sarpe.
Yeah, what a time. I think it was Hydrogen who ended up taking the pause just prior to a big team fight, and back in we go.
He's still
Nothing's
alive.
changed. Don't worry, we resume right where we're at, but Sarpe could be caught out here, and he is. Hydrogen with a kill on the Sarpe on the back end of the engagement makes it a 2-for-1.
Sarpe does fall. 70 seconds left on his respawn. So Yomi Tanuki now in a 4 versus 3 can start to look towards this enhanced fire giant. That said, Spudio still incredibly healthy, as is Angry, so they will not make it easy. Snatty shows himself on the map, meaning that the Niflheim Wargs realize that it is a 3v3 around the Pyromancer. Will not step up. Do not want to leave it up to risk. And even in the time it's taken me to express my thoughts about that team fight, Sarpe is already halfway. Well, yes, but Sarpe is already halfway back on his respawn.
Oh my God, was it 80 seconds?
That's got to be wrong. No way, Tripno is still 70 seconds. Sarpe died second.
No. Yeah,
he's back soon.
Yeah, surely at some point here, quickly, Tripno will be back on the map. A nice ultimate though, connecting onto one.
Just a little more.
Gotta be. Come on, there it is. Kana snags one onto Snatty, who's in the grave for 75 or so seconds. We'll have to wait for just a little bit longer for the Tanuki Soul Laner to respawn. Have no fear, Tripno back on the map. That would have been egregious, but the Wargs won't have that opportunity to fight without the opposing team's mid laner for too much longer. And I don't know, I wonder how many more of those types of fights we're going to see, Miff, where you're this late in the game, your team loses someone initially, and you're like, all right, I don't want to lose the entire game, so you back away. Could see a few more of those.
Yeah, and endurance is very quickly going to become the topic of conversation, I'm thinking. Not only did this set start late, but it is going long. 48 minutes in, the enhanced fire giant dance rages onward. Snatty, 30 seconds in the grayscale to just watch and backseat his teammates as he waits. El Leon with a phenomenal pull, unfortunately finds Kana, and that guy is tanky.
Enhanced fire giant, though, all this time taken down by the Niflheim Wargs, and Kana avoids death. Sada Dragon now desperately running away. Ultimate used by the Bakasura. Ultimate already used by Tripno, but a knock-up onto Sarpe, who went too far into the back. Means a return kill from the Tanuki. Kana also low on the front line of this fight. Sada Dragon barely clings to life, and a respawn out from Snatty means a slowed down enhanced fire giant push.
Kana,
unless El Leon can speed things back up.
Kana caught out, has the dash available, will use it to create a little bit more separation, I thought.
Who's got a trebuchet? Tanuki do.
Yeah, Tanuki's got one, and they ain't using it anytime soon, man. So go ahead and, I suppose, rest on your tufted as you wait.
You went back to it after yelling at me for going back to it.
I didn't yell at you. I simply expressed.
You scolded me.
I didn't, well, yeah, I did.
You're right. Playing the moral high ground.
Well, of course.
So when Hindu yells at us for our style of cast, you can say, I tried.
Yeah, I'm going to point to that exact moment in the cast. I've already clipped it. I've got my people. They'll be in contact with yours.
Yeah, I don't have people, so it's just me. Oni Fury whittled away by the Yomi Tanuki, so that'll buy a little bit of time on this push. Likely just a little bit of time. All right, so we've reached the point in the game. Builds complete. Relics all upgraded. We're talking about
Surely
power
not
pots.
just now, right? Like, they've been done.
No, it happened just now.
Oh my
Support.
God.
No, I'm kidding. For a while now, builds fully completed. Power pots is what we're looking at. Could consider selling off some of these starter items, first tier items, for larger item upgrades a bit later on in the game. At this point, it is all about not getting caught out. Leon learning that the hard way. No knock up onto Kana, who will waltz right on out after forcing an ult from Leon and Sadadrag.
Yomi Tanuki able to maintain a little bit of time here. 2 minutes left on the enhanced Fire Giant play, but only 4 members benefiting from it on the Niflheim Wargs. That said, Sarpe might just not need it. Oh, go ahead.
Do you want to just go an hour at this point? We're so close.
We might as well. First hour-long game of 2022.
I don't think it'll be the last. I think we could be going the distance in a couple of these. Though the Niflheim Wargs, if they have it their way, they'll end this game here in the next couple of minutes. Trebuchet making all the difference.
It's active.
Keeping the fire minions at bay. Keeping the minions at bay. Some good poke damage out from the Yomi Tanuki. Sarpe versus Sadadragon over in the mid lane. A 1v1 we wondered if we would have to see a lot of throughout the closing moments of this game, and we will have to see it at some point. Fire Giant, just a minute and a half left.
And Sarpe just wins this.
There you go.
Surely, Sadadragon lines up. Send anybody else. You have 50 minutes of data on that.
Could this be the final fight of the game? Mid lane Phoenix now crumbles, but Sarpe is low. The double dash gets the jungler out and away. 2 Phoenixes down. The Yomi Tanuki backpedaling into the Titan room.
A full minute on the enhanced Fire Giant, only 1 bird still standing. Seems the Niflheim Wargs have taken that personally as they approach the right-hand side. 4 strong are the Yomi Tanuki, and 50 seconds left on Saturday.
Leon gets a big knockup, and Kana spins away. There's a Riptide out as well. Spadio joined the front line of the fight and is forced to ult away as well. Health bar's low, but Kana receives some sustain, so does Snatty. Now Sarpe going down the mid lane, ushering in a few of the minions into the Titan room. But it looks like the Tanuki have expended what they had on the right side Phoenix.
All 3 Phoenixes down, still half a minute left on Sadadragon's respawn.
There we go.
Niflheim Wargs working their way in.
Sadadragon is going to have to watch from the sidelines as the Titan is sieged, and in 52 minutes, the Wargs will knock down the Titan and take game 1.
What a well, I don't know if you could say convincing in a 52-minute game. That was as back and forth
What happened 30
as they
minutes
could come.
Weren't the Tanuki were
Sadadragon
really
got
far ahead
soloed
at some point,
30
right?
minutes ago, I think. Probably by Sarpe. Happens again at the 50-minute mark.
Yeah, do you think that, I mean, that game was
That game was pretty tough.
close to getting over
That
anyway.
sealed it, though.
Is that the sealed deal?
Once Sadadragon's dead, I'm thinking to myself,
paper.
I suppose I put my chair away and
Your
get
what?
ready for the postgame. The chair. I had to put.
Or, as we've been calling it, your tuffet. You put your tuffet away, Myth.
No, that's not. You read the definition. That's
Yeah,
not
it's
a tuffet.
larger than tuffet. That's my fault. That is tough. Mentally, if you're the Tanuki, you probably feel like you had the opportunities to close this game out. You go 52 minutes after a long break. You're warmed up now after nearly an hour-long game, but it is the Wargs who shut things down and take over. Game 1 to the Wargs. Game number 2 after this break.
up. We see you.
Hello and welcome back. Game number 1 is done here in our best of 3 matchup between the Wargs and the Tanuki, which means we have, at bare minimum,
No,
Trelly,
we have
one more, at bare minimum, we have one more to go. I'm going to say, before I go on with that, let me talk to you guys, though, about Prime Gaming, one of our sponsors here for Season 9 of the SPL. Make sure that you are utilizing that Amazon Prime subscription to get Prime Gaming, to get all the cool stuff in the games you're already playing, and get some of those new games. If any of them sparked your interest in that trailer, make sure that you download one of those with your Prime Gaming subscription. Make sure you make the most of that. Use your Twitch Priming sub here, or maybe use it with your friends. I'm going to say use it here because I think you're a really cool person if you use it up here. Make sure to hit that crown on top, the subscribe button down below. And let's talk about these post-game stats of this 52-minute game that has escalated here, Trelly, up against these two teams. The Wargs finally able to claw back at the very end of this one to find a victory. A lot of damage was put out.
Yeah, Sarpe looked very solid on the Nemesis.
I don't know why I dropped it like that.
Finding so many solo kills, Sarpe found the. I'm not gonna. Yeah, it was a backdoor, backdooring the Phoenix, just opening up so much on the map, and then just the wraparound where it was like a Scooby-Doo mystery where you couldn't figure out where Sarpe was.
Which door
running
did he
around.
go in?
And then at that point, you lost the jungler, goes to the backline, one-shot's trip. Now you got to keep your eye on the sneaky Nemesis. They weren't able to that time.
We're not able to do so, but game number 2 is ready to go, or at least the picks and bans for game number 2 between the Yomi Tanuki and the Niflheim Wargs. Wargs 1 game away from moving on to day number 3. The Yomi Tanuki have to win 2 if they want to make it there. Bans already rapid firing out. Mercury, Baba Yaga, Thoth. On the opposite side, Clean It, Yamoja, and Jingwei all taken out. That leaves the Baron Somni up for the Yomi Tanuki.
As far as I'm concerned, I want to see at least 3 brew buys here. And if they do 3,
You were complaining about 3 in that last game that we were casting.
because Baron didn't buy the brew.
So Baron has to be included in that count.
That goes without saying. It has his name on it.
So is that 3 plus Baron, or is that 3 including Baron? So
It's
it has to be
including
Baron
Baron.
plus 2 more.
Yes, Baron and
Okay.
2 more brews.
That's the stipulation there. It is if you're playing with a Baron, the Baron has to pick it up, and at least 2 people have to get your brew.
Well, you don't have to. It's just you're not going to have my support if you
Oh,
don't.
yeah, you're not going to get the Trelly seal of approval.
Is that an on her?
That isn't on her. That's also a Tiamat and a Chernobog on the other side by the Wargs.
Well, that's obvious. Well, I'm more focused on this. I'm going to ignore the
Wow.
right side draft because that makes sense.
just going to ignore a whole half of the page.
I mean, on her
or
is
screen. It's not a page. What am I thinking? This is a book.
I'm just reading through picks and bans here. Yeah, the on her surprises me because it's not one of those picks that you're picking if you expect the game to go to 50-plus minutes. You probably are trying to win lane early on and not let the late game portion of these hunter builds come to fruition. Obviously on her, one of the bigger lane bullies that we have right now in that duo lane. Pretty solid for just saying, hey, I'm not going to sit around and farm. I want to jump in, impale you into a wall, and hit the Desert Fury. I'm trying to get aggressive.
Want to get aggressive very early on, and Sylvanas is a great god to allow him to be able to do something like that over in the duo lane. Meanwhile, with a Tiamat Chernobog, and it was a Ymir hover, instead will now be a Terra for the Niflheim Wargs to maybe go solo, maybe go support. I don't want to say maybe go jungle because we have seen it at least once, but I hope it's not jungle for maybe the sake of everybody's sanity.
All right, let me pick your brain for a second.
Okay,
We have
go for it.
Sylvanas and we have Terra.
Right.
Sylvanas' ult is Wrath of Terra.
Yeah.
So is the Wrath a little bit less effective because Terra's on the other team saying, hey, I don't want my Wrath to be so bad?
Yes.
Okay, so that was the. So
I'm gonna be
say,
honest. I partially zoned when you were saying all of that. I was thinking about the fact that there's 6 or 7 Shrek movies.
What? Well, I'm going to let J-Mac think about that for a second. Well, Terra is a solid counter pick in the sense of you can immune the knockup with your stones on the ground, and then you can just, counter with your own healing. And I think the Wrath of Terra meme is also funny. It looks like Hunbats and Geb were rapid fire banned, and a King Arthur is going to be picked in the solo lane. Would not be surprised if we see just, wait, hold that thought.
Which thought?
It's not going to be, that's got to be Baron solo. So we're back to the
Could be Baron mid.
I suppose. We haven't seen
Could
Baron
be.
mid.
It's been a long time, but it could be Baron mid.
Well,
but
I was really under the impression that Snatty was just tired of going for these Bumbus
look,
Hammer style
it's
builds and
Blazing
just
Jordan.
going for the Bluestone. Oh yeah.
It's Blazy and Jordan.
I know those guys.
What are they doing hanging out back there? Blazy was streaming not even an hour ago. He was streaming like 30 minutes ago. I wonder if he just left his stream sitting there.
I wonder if Jordan's finding more ways to Photoshop us all being the same height.
Or apparently, Niflheim doing the opposite and making him the only tall one, everybody else short.
For some reason, Myth shortened my hair. It's usually much longer in person. It's about 2 feet above my head.
It definitely did look a little short. You got more of like the Johnny Bravo look, and he kind of cut it down to more like a Duke Nukem style.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like taking away the nemesis from Sarpé, double hunter, so not going to be the Baron. And you know
Unfortunate.
what? It could be an AMC solo. Who am I to say?
That would be actually way more fun to watch, to see AMC solo.
Unless, of course, you just go full damage Baron and don't wait for late game on the Bumbas hammer.
Full damage Baron is fun, but full tank Baron with Bumbas is also really fun, getting able to reset all of your cooldowns. Osiris, the last pick for the Niflheim Wargs to round out their composition, going to the jungle this time around, which is kind of where we most have been seeing. I don't know why I tried to emphasize going to the jungle. That's pretty much the only place that we've seen him go in these 2 days.
Yeah, it's one of those annoying matchups where obviously Nemesis is going to have some solid boxing, but it's also very difficult to escape the tether from Osiris, so going to be an annoying matchup in that regard. And also 100% anti-healing. You've got a Sylvanas, you got a Baron. That's going to be something you don't want to deal with as well.
You remember when that 100% anti-healing wasn't like true anti-heal? Like you could technically with like Rod of Asclepius still actually heal even if you were applied by that, or like Odin and Serket?
What if I said no?
You wouldn't have remembered? I would have hoped you'd remember. You were playing around that time.
I do remember. What if I said no, though?
Then I would have explained it a little bit further in depth.
I was going to say, you already gave me all the information, so even if I didn't remember it, you reminded me of it.
There you go. Now that you remember if you don't, and same for the fans at home, if they didn't remember that was a thing. It was at this point, but now it's true anti-heal to go up against this healing composition, the Baron Sylvanas. Trelly, I'm going to ask you which team that you got the preference on
Wargs.
winning. Okay, there we go. I didn't even have to cut over, so just give me the quick Wargs grab there. Jokes aside and all fun that we're having here, it is definitely getting late. These teams are really trying to battle it out for that last spot to move into Group 3 to battle out tomorrow. That's going to be taking place, which, by the way, tomorrow for us is barely even 12 hours away at this point.
Yeah, jokes aside, I think both of these drafts are going to be pretty solid. You want some good competitive Smite action, and I think the Tanuki are going to bring it. That last game went 52 minutes for a reason. Woo. Both of these teams are reared up and ready to go. No one wants to go home, so they better bring it then.
At this point, no, there's a correction. I think everybody technically does want to go home, just not in the sense of their tournament life being ended at that point there. They definitely want to keep playing on. Maybe at this point, give them a pillow and a blanket so they can take a nap here.
All right, $50,000 are on the line. The people behind us, they don't want to go home. That's what I'm saying.
They don't want to go home. We definitely got a lot of pillows over in the green room. I was debating taking a nap, but I definitely can't do that. I get yelled at if I took a nap here in the studio. Maybe I could just stay here for overnight, though.
I mean, I've been locked into the games because 52 minutes, you never know what's going to happen. You look away for a second, you miss 10 kills.
Somebody dies, and then nobody else dies because the somebodies are still alive. That's what happened a lot last game. Elion actually did have a really clutch save at the end there. We'll see if the Tanukis have a clutch save to bring it to Game 3, or the Wargs going to run away with it in 2. Let's jump right in.
I don't know what Trelly's hit rate's been on picking teams here this weekend, but he picks the Wargs, and so hopefully it's been a good hit rate, unless the Tanuki pull this one back in a solid 20-minute effort. Miff, are you struggling over there, buddy? We had a squat and a deep breath.
6 God hand. Prayers up.
What?
That's a Drake thing.
Yeah, that's not me.
You are absolutely correct. And I don't even want you to pretend that you are Drake in the future.
No, I mean, like, that reference doesn't hit home with me.
You don't listen to Drake?
Oh, some.
That's the guy who did Hotline Bling?
He was the one who sat on the Seattle Space Needle.
He's the guy who was in Degrassi.
I had no idea what you were saying. He was in Degrassi the show.
Yeah.
Which one did Macklemore do? Sit on the Seattle Space Needle? That's what production said. Macklemore also did that. All right,
Macklemore also fell off.
Here's the good news, Miff. We have approximately 50 minutes to talk about whatever we want, and then we'll get
then we'll get into game 3.
Then we'll get into game number 3. No, we do. Let's break down some of the drafts that we've got here, because we heard a lot of rumbling about double ADC comps coming into this weekend. They may be all they might be all the rage coming into this weekend. I've seen a couple of them, and now we get another look at one with Tripno and Hydrogen, both playing an ADC for themselves.
Yeah, double ADC drafts have not got the highest win rate this weekend either. So take that with what you will. That said, I think this time around, it's a composition that can really make use of Double Hunter. You've got Tripno, who's got percentage damage shred, percentage penetration, essentially, every time he applies that stinger. Sada Dragon does the exact same thing with his ultimate, meaning that Tripno, Sada Dragon, and Hydrogen is going to be more effective when they're fighting together. Inherent synergy between those three. The only concern I have for the Yomi Tanuki's draft is their initiation. It's a bit one note come late game. It's generally going to be a blink in from Leon or maybe a pull from Snatty come late, but that's, again, single target for the most part. Whereas on the other side, the Niflheim Wargs have got themselves a much more standard composition, double warrior draft with Sarpe with a highly aggressive early game jungle, great scalers. Spudio on this Chernobog should be able to make impact known come late game. But looking at the Nemesis and what Sarpe was able to do with it in game 1, I'm trying to figure out who's the answer to Nemesis for the Niflheim Wargs. Kana, I suppose, on this King Arthur has got some pretty decent ways to deal with her. The shield really won't get a whole lot of value as long as this King Arthur's looking at her.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking too far ahead. We got to get through this laning phase first. My brain's moving too quick.
You think, and I do, maybe it's an individual matchup, you're right, I don't want to move too far into the team fighting phase, but it did just come to mind. Looking at a King Arthur, maybe even an Osiris, Tripno with that stinger could be super impactful in shutting down Kana. Blue buff invade unsuccessful. Dropped by the Yomi Tanuki. And Snatty will be able to backpedal and pick that one up. Uh-oh, Leon, though, unable to backpedal away, and first blood over to Spudio and the Niflheim Wargs. Preds on the Terra makes it happen, and Spudio deals the damage.
Yeah, Leon just a little too far up there. Hydrogen tries to up down just appeal. Disperse has the knockback on landing, but doesn't work against Terra when she has any one of her structures up. She is immune to knockbacks and knock-ups, so Pred's able to keep that aggression going. First blood over to Spudio on the Chernobog. That's not exactly what you want to see. When you lock in on her, that is a god that needs to establish pressure in lane. He's not the hardest scaling hunter come late game. No self-stims. It's really about that early game presence. You tick over to level 5, you've got one of the hardest hitting ultimates. And that still is true, but generally you want him establishing pressure first, and, well, it's Chernobog that strikes first.
If we're playing 1v1 rules, Niflheim Wargs only need one more kill or a tower.
Or a tower.
And then the game is over.
That should be an official ruling. Anytime my workday gets over 12 hours, we start running dual rules.
Nah, Miff, you love it. You love it here. You and I sitting on some comfy Maxnomic seats and
God, they
watching
are comfy.
some good Smite. Kana
God, it is
blinks
good.
forward, unable to connect with stun onto Snatty, but does pressure out the Baron Samdi here just a little bit. I do wonder how, because when I was hearing rumblings of Double Hunter, I was assuming there'd be two that can build into that chin-size style of build, but we've still seen the return to one Hunter building that more attack speed, chin size, some crit style of build, and then another doing what Tripno, I assume, is going to do this game, stack up a Transcendence, have a more ability-based build, despite being technically a double Hunter. Preds, though, heads over towards mid. Ultimate dropped from Sada Dragon. A slow onto Preds, but a stun onto Sada Dragon means that Sarpe has time to rotate through, but so does Leon. No ultimate for Leon. Otherwise, Sarpe might have been in some trouble. No kills dropping mid.
If Stinger connects onto Preds, Preds is just dead there. Would have caught out that second dash as Kana tries yet again fruitlessly to steal away that blue buff. Keep your eyes here. Spudio's position very aggressive. The runaway? I am so... Hydrogen lost one cool point for running away. He clears the way with ult, pins him to the wall. Spudio's got nothing to fight back with. He's fighting inside of a wave. I think if he just up-downs there, Hydrogen might have found himself a solo kill, or at least pressured him out.
Does it change your mindset on it that Spudio had a completed, not stacked, Devourer's Gauntlet, and Hydrogen was just now able to go back? Like a boxing fight might have been like a half item off for Hydrogen?
Slightly, but even then, I think you still are favoring Hydrogen. That was just insane. Like, you're fighting an entire 9.5 minion wave. These aren't these scrawny 9.4 minions that died on one ability. These are 9.5 minions.
These
They're
aren't
here to
the
help.
tier 2 Hydra's minions. These are the fully completed Hydra's Lament
Spork
minions.
no more. These are Trident minions.
We're Trident minions. What's the that famous piece of artwork where the guy and his wife are like standing? I'll hold this thought.
That's just called Farmers.
Pulls in. Sarpe, Lord of the Afterlife, doesn't connect on a Snatty. But a little bit more damage would have grabbed a kill there for Sarpe. Snatty's got to back away. An unfortunate teleport used just a few seconds ago means Snatty's going to have to go back and walk back into lane.
Yeah, I think this is maybe the fatigue setting in. Another dropped kill. Sarpe whiffing the ultimate. Had he connected it, Snatty just dead in that scenario. That said, forcing him back to base after he had just used teleport certainly has value in its own right. Yomi Tanuki's solo laner going to have to spend a little bit more time walking back towards his tower. Thought maybe we'd see Kana try and approach between the towers to slow him down. Instead, just looking towards that blue buff yet again. If he sticks around, though, it's going to be a numbers advantage over to Yomi Tanuki.
Hydrogen and Spudio have shown a little 1v1 potential. Hydrogen walking away from it. Snatty and Kana continue to do some battle over here on right. Kana was happy with the way that Stone of Gaia build went, apparently. Going to return to it here over on the right side of the map for a little sustain. Might need it now as Leon rotates over with his ultimate. Knock up rocks the Gaia, but doesn't matter. Sada Dragon answers back, an opening kill for the Wargs with the kill of the Tanuki's own, but Tripno rooted in place, unable to escape. Snatty falls for the second, a knock up onto Leon, but a pull on a Sarpe keeps things interesting.
Yeah, that's what happens when you take fights on the side of the map that is opposite the global ultimate. It is always going to be a numbers advantage over to the Niflheim Wargs, who take the advantage in the team fight as well. Spudio makes the trek all the way across the map, jumps into someone's shadow, and then jumps them legitimately, to Yomi Tanuki that is. Clean team fight over the Wargs, as they are able to strip away a little bit of that jungle as well. But you spend all that time on the right-hand side, leaves Hydrogen unattended, is able to drop down that red buff, and seems like he's going to make it out with his life.
Sarpe considering a chase down, but ultimately will back away. A slight gold lead now over to the Niflheim Wargs, just shy of about 1,000. Experience, though, dead even. This is the style of gold lead we are playing back and forth with for the first 20 or so minutes of game number 1. And then the Tanuki just skyrocket ahead with some good team fighting, early fire giants, things like that. And ultimately the Wargs able to stem the bleeding a bit and come back there. So nothing that the Tanuki will be too frightful of, especially when you get some stacking going. You got 4 out of 5 stacking items, Devourer's Gauntlet, Thieves, Transcendence, and Warlock Staff all going. Sada Dragon didn't get the memo. We'll stick with the Golden Blade start here. Over on the Nemesis, on the flip side, some stacking happening. Anger gets the Charon's coin, Spudio's stacking up that Devourer's Gauntlet as well. So maybe this is the Tanuki saying, all right, let's collectively catch our breath for a little bit here, stack up some of these items and get going a bit later on.
Considering the pace of the game, Tanuki could fight again, and Snatty, it seems like he did not choose this engagement, will fall down. Sada Dragon nearly I'm not sure he can stick this.
Yeah, you gotta be careful here. Sada Dragon with nothing left in the tank could end up getting taken down. Dash away, that one's successful from Kana. And the blink forward from El Leon comes up empty-handed. So the Niflheim Wargs been able to make some plays happen over on right, trying to keep this Baron behind. Luckily for Snatty, teleport up this time. And so you'll be able to teleport back to lane, won't miss out on too much of that experience. But as far as pace setting goes, we're getting more of it from the Niflheim Wargs here in the first few minutes. Certainly happy with the way it's gone.
Still waiting for that first neutral objective to create some actual separation, despite it being 4-1. The gold still largely even experience, maybe a larger separator at this point, but even then, individual leads for Yomi Tanuki on parts of the map. Sada Dragon, 1 level up on Sarpe, 1 level advantage to Kana in the solo lane, 1 level in mid to Angry as well, but support Leon ahead for his team.
Hydrogen ulted on by Spudio. Snatty ganked yet again, and an unfortunate death awaits for Baron, who had just used his teleport
again
to get back to the right side of the map. Now falls to 0-3. How many times have we seen this, though? Whether it's a Baron or a Zhang Kui, we have just shoveled all of our resources into killing them over and over and over and over again, and just delaying the scaling as long as possible.
And that's the answer to things like Baron Samedi, though. He doesn't have any way to escape that situation. Every single time he goes into the life of the party, just makes it easier for Sarpe to line up his ult. Preds, though, he's hurt.
Gotta be a kill onto Preds here, but a nice root and an Earthen Fury down. But you are spending a lot of resources on this Terra. Sustain out, but just seems like a matter of time before someone on the Tanuki grabs a kill, and it is Hydrogen back in the kill column. And now actually fully stacking up that obelisk are the Yomi Tanuki, so they will have a trebuchet waiting in just a moment. But a nice return kill here for the Tanuki, able to flip the tides just a little bit, but the unfortunate trend has all been going towards the Wargs.
The Wargs having a very good run of the early game so far, but it is just that, the early game. In 9-5, the game is dictated by those first rounds of neutral objectives that generally come around that 16 to 20 minute mark. That said, the first 16 minutes have been spent trying to establish advantage getting to that point. Niflheim Wargs have done a good job of creating a little bit of separation, but I'd like to see a little bit more. Leverage the leads, play around your advantages. Angry now 2 levels up over Tripno on mid. This Tiamat has gone uncontested so far this game. Sada Dragon very content to play around the side lanes rather than in that mid 3v3, perhaps is what got him this lead. Sada Dragon been spending a lot of time in the jungle, but Angry is a looming threat that needs to be addressed eventually.
Look, we know that Tripno is going to scale just fine on this AMC. We have seen what late game full rotation damage does from a full ability-based build from an AMC. A 2-level lead in the solo lane means more of this, unfortunately, for Snatty. Ooh, forced into life for the party. Unlucky as now a stun and a slow and a swipe. Nearly grabs a kill. Hydrogen, though, run down by Sarpei. The Wargs, tired of waiting, taking this game over. But the Tanuki, can you answer back with an objective of your own? Preds close by, but Preds cannot steal it. Leon stunned in place. A root down from Preds as well. As Sada Dragon returns his ultimate to the Terra. Pull back through from Leon. Spin to win, spin to disengage from Kana. As Preds actually taking a heap of damage here. One last auto is in, and Leon snags it. And so suddenly Pyromancer for a kill, but it is traded out for a Gold Fury.
Wow, that was a lot to digest inside of that small microcosm of this match, but small micro plays, I think, are where the highlights are going to be. Kana stunned Sada Dragon inside of the lava pools, could have potentially turned that kill around. Snatty decides not to rotate, so is able to close up that level gap slightly. And in pulling the Pyromancer, the Niflheim Wargs find themselves a little bit of global golden experience. Yomi Tanuki, though, take notice and decide to push out the opposite side of the map after getting a small skirmish win up against Hydrogen in the lane. Spudio now, similarly, about a level and a half lead on his contemporaries. The Niflheim Wargs do not have anywhere to push their aggression now, though. Even though the objectives are split, I think you might favor the Tanuki in that trade, just because now the Niflheim Wargs have nowhere to force the Tanuki to dig in their heels and defend. At this far down, experience will largely equalize as long as you're able to clear out your own side of the jungle.
Right.
The Tanuki very happy that they're not going to be forced into another fight for at least a couple of minutes.
Need all of the time to scale up as they can get, because Snatty has been run down. Life of the party and Leon make things a little more difficult for the Wargs, and right on time, Snatty receives some help, and down goes Kana. You love the kill onto the Baron, but you'll get it any way you can get it. And the Tanuki turn 2 kills over on right.
Sarpei, I do not think, has landed an ultimate just yet on Snatty. If he's done so, would have been 2 kills. Both dropped now and is turned around entirely.
It's hard on a Baron, man. It's hard to land it all onto a Baron.
What are you saying to me right now?
It's hard to hit a Lord of the Afterlife on a Baron, man.
I literally just made the point that when he's party godding, he's so easy to kill.
Yeah, to be clear, I'm kidding.
Oh, you're schmeeming me.
I don't know what that means. I'm memeing you.
It's like schmoves.
Well, I don't know what that is either.
It's like moving, but with sauce.
That's
Stop laughing at me.
That's not me. I was really hoping that the green goblet was gonna be up over here on the left side of the map.
I thought you were talking about
it is.
Spider-Man's anime.
All right. So I guess the camera has to get close enough to it. Over there by the Harpy pit. A nice, that right there. Are you taking a drink out of that?
What?
Are you taking a drink
I'm
out of
dipping my head in there for sure. That looks like Baja Blast.
You're laughing
I'm a
because
gamer.
you can't fathom a world where you're not drinking out of
If
it?
anybody in chat said they're not dunking their head and slurping, they're liars.
Oh my God. Without a moment's hesitation.
No, I'm not even
dunking
smelling
yourself
first.
in the neon green goblet that's just chilling. That's like one of those traps that you use. You put a stick on a box with like a string attached to it. It's like so obviously a trap.
Because it's appetizing, right? That's why it would work as a trap.
Right,
and
so
I've
you're
been
getting
appetized.
trapped.
Okay.
So you're getting trapped is my point.
Yeah, I want that.
Look at it.
It's worth it.
All right.
My loose tether to the mortal coil means less to me than one stiff sip from that cauldron.
Yeah, but depending on how strong it is, that stiff sip could knock you over. And
That's fine. I'm already in the trap.
Yeah, you're right. You're in the box anyway, right? The guy snickering with a string and a stick ready to capture you. All right, I just wanted your take on it, and a definitive yes from Niflheim. We're drinking the Baja Blast, the mystery liquid on the left side of the map. Can't ask a similar question over here on right. Solo laners get it rough. No moral life
drinks.
questions. But it is Baron, so there is a Baron's brew happening over on right, but not quite the same. That's very conditional as to what is going on in the game. You were right, though, Miff. The reason we're able to talk about this is because the game has slowed down a bit.
Wow, way to tie it in. That's good.
You're welcome. I have to do it. Luckily for the Yomi Tanuki, despite being the pace setters of the last couple of minutes, and I think that's right on time for Snatty. The level lead hasn't quite gotten better, but the fact that Snatty has been able to chill, get a couple of assists, farm up in that lane, definitely a boon to the Tanuki cause.
Yeah, Breastplate of Valor is going to make it much more difficult for anybody to dive him inside of that tower. The additional CDR might just be enough with the healing to offset some of that damage coming his way, but it's also defense, and he's also moving into a helmet, and it's also a double physical, solo and jungle. Snatty may have got that defense a little too late, as he's already 0-3 in this lane, but better late than never. We'll have a little bit more survivability in the coming fights. And that'll be coming pretty shortly as Pyromancer and Oni Fury are on the respawn. They're on the mend.
But it's a different instance of, like, they're just being replaced. It's not the same one that's now healed up.
I like to imagine the different versions of the Fury are the same guy coming back later in a different outfit.
I like to imagine my Fury in a tuxedo laying in his crib because, you know, he's a baby, but he likes to party. Tell me you get that.
I have no clue what
I
you're
like
saying.
to imagine my baby Jesus in a tuxedo. And
Oh, okay.
just wrapped in his manger.
Is that B99?
No.
Is that It's Always Sunny?
It's Talladega Nights.
Oh my God. I've never seen that actually.
You're kidding.
I'm so serious.
Man. All right, well, we have seen Prez get ulted a few times, and we have seen Sada Dragon knock down 3 kills in a row. Lord of the Afterlife. This time onto a couple, but Sada Dragon able to limp away from the fight. Another opening pick for the Yomi Tanuki, and the kills have been equalized, and the gold very, very close to being equalized as well.
As has the experience. Dare I say it, 18 minutes into this game, we are approaching the second wave of objectives from a dead even state. It is so hard to establish a lead and hold on to it nowadays. These teams so adept at keeping these things interesting. Speaking of interesting, Oni Fury pulled out. Should be answered quickly by Pyromancer on the other side. Could have been an opportunity to potentially even look at the Fire Giant, but I suppose only 3 members from the Niflheim Wargs on the right will not feel confident in their ability to do so. That said, Yomi Tanuki have been able to at least match the objective pressure of the Niflheim Wargs and continue their onslaught across the map. This Tier 1 tower is unprotected.
One on the left is protected by Spudio. Mid lane Tier 1 falls, right side Tier 1 falls as well. Kind of will shove up these waves. Snatty has maintained a steady 2-level deficit.
Goodness.
So now Sada Dragon, a double dash and blink, covers the ground from Pyromancer to the back of FG, and Sarpei could not answer fast enough. Leon has been on point with these pulls, but unfortunately Life of the Party will not bring Kana back to death. And so Leon able to separate the gap a little bit, and Leon deserves every ounce of credit in the world. We have put eyes on Sada Dragon, but Leon has been in range as well on all of these fights, both of the 2 players, jungle and support, carrying around a 100% kill participation.
That's the meme, man. Jungles and supports just got the biggest brains because they get their hands in the most cookie pots, and that's what's happened so
Because they
far.
dunk their head in the most Baja Blast.
Dude, it's just actual factual, man. It's called, well, it's not called Gamer Fuel. That's like a different thing. Either way, ask me a question about the game. I can't figure out what to talk about on my own.
I was just talking about how Sada Dragon and Leon.
They both got involved, and I said they're sipping Baja.
Do you have actual analysis to apply to those 2, or are we moving on entirely?
Yeah, let's take me somewhere else.
All right, we can segue on.
Mulligan.
We'll get a breakfast ball, right? We'll get to swing on something else here, and I want to look at how the scaling has continued out of the mid lane here. Charon's coin, some flat pen, and a Soul Reaver, plus Tier 2 Obshard, much better looking at least than Tier 2 Hydras. On the flip side, though, Tripno has done some scaling as well. Fully stacked Transcendence, Brawler's Beatstick, Heartseeker, and then does look like a little attack speed built into that build as well. Both mid laners hitting some important power spike items.
Yeah, I am curious to see which bow Tripno elects to pick up. I would think Odysseus bow would go a long way against this triple blink composition. Odysseus bow essentially the item of, hey, if you're anywhere near your own teammates, you're not allowed to use that relic as the damage will spread to you. Speaking of, SMITE now in some trouble, will be forced to retreat to the air.
Buys time.
Meets up with Snatty.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't know Snatty was over in mid.
And he missed literally every ability and nearly died to Spudio.
But he didn't. He didn't die.
He
That's
sure
the point.
didn't.
Now this is a collapse in. I mean, the Yomi Tanuki have to see this coming. Earthen Fury down. Oh my God! Preds melts when you get a stinger and an ultimate from a Nemesis and a Desert Fury. Yeah, you're not living through much of anything. And Preds learns that the hard way. The Yomi Tanuki have eyes for kills and have eyes for a tier 2 tower.
Yeah, Preds wishing he had bought anything besides defense because he's not allowed to utilize it whatsoever when Yomi Tanuki are grouped up like this. Left side Phoenix being approached. This is a very quick pace. 15 seconds left on Preds respawn. 5 versus 4.
Snatty into life of the party. Sarpei, Lord of the Afterlife, away. Left side Phoenix melting through at 21 minutes. A fast pace.
They got it.
For a Phoenix to go down, and Phoenix does go down. Can you cleanly disengage? You need to make it worth. Kana blinks into 4. Leon disengages the back of the fight, but damage has connected onto the King Arthur, but not enough to get the kill. Sarpei remedies that onto Tripno, and the opening kill, the only kill of this fight, is onto the Tanuki mid.
If it's only one that falls, Yomi Tanuki come out far and away ahead at being able to strip away that left side Phoenix Fire Giant. Going to be that much easier to go for as those fire minion waves leak their way down the left side of the map. The Niflheim Wargs would have liked very much so to have chased that out a little bit further, but the damage return was too strong, and Yomi Tanuki are able to disengage. Now it's all about map state advantage. It's a conversation we were having 30 minutes ago, 50 minutes into game 1. Now we're having the exact same conversation 22 minutes into game 2, favoring Yomi Tanuki. They're in a very good position to leverage this double hunter composition. These style of drafts with double hunter are always much, much better from ahead. They fall off significantly when they have to defend, but if you're the aggressor onto an objective, you're going to shred that objective very quickly, and you'll shred any tanks that walk up too. We saw it earlier. Preds might as well have not built defense if Sada Dragon and Tripno are around. Same could be said of Kana, but it's only Sada Dragon around.
Sada Dragon does ult Kana, but Kana able to back away from it just fine. Snatty is maintained that 2-level deficit, hasn't gotten worse, so we'll be catching up experience-wise here in just a few moments' time when Kana reaches level 20. And Leon has been on a breakneck pace as far as supports go and their experience, level 18. While the Niflheim Wargs have a couple members at level 19, so do the Yomi Tanuki in a couple of their roles. Preds 4 levels behind as far as supports go.
Just chasing.
And Leon maintains his 100% kill participation. Why not? This Tanuki team is ruthless here in game number 2. Gold Fury still stands, but not for much longer. No answer from the Wargs, and a big gold lead now built up for the Tanuki.
Yeah, that's what a triple auto attacker, double hunter composition can do to these objectives, which is why I was so surprised to see Yomi Tanuki not try and pull out the Fire Giant immediately. Left side mini waves have been pushed up very well by the Niflheim Wargs, so if this fight does go relatively quickly around the pyro, around the Fire Giant, the Wargs won't have to concern themselves. But the longer Yomi Tanuki keep pressure on this side of the map, the more pressure is going to build up on the left side. But it's the Niflheim Wargs who steal away the Pyromancer. Preds able to take that with the wall clap. That said, Pyromancer really only benefiting with that passive as of now.
Now that brings the gold back closer to even. The Niflheim
Oh,
Wargs
literally dead even.
get back into this game.
Wow.
Actually kind of does. Experience, though, way in the favor of the Niflheim Wargs at this point. Again, that is the solo and mid separation that's been happening, and Leon not able to close up that gap just yet, despite being a few levels ahead. Niflheim Wargs.
3.
Yeah, 3.
Wow.
A few is 3.
You're right. A couple.
Oh, you were surprised.
Yeah,
by,
I was just surprised by how ahead he was.
Gotcha. Not the fact that I used few.
No, you're being real self-conscious and weird right now.
That's on me. You're gaslighting me. Oh God! I don't know how to cast anymore. It's the worst. Kana gets run down, but not taken down. The last of Desert Fury won't be there, and an ult in from Spudio never arrives because Spudio is taking down the left side Phoenix.
Is that allowed?
All this time, apparently it is. Now the Yomi Tanuki need to grab a kill to make this feel worthwhile, and they do. Sarpé is the one who goes down for the 3rd time this game, but Spudio able to solo push down a left side tier 2 and a Phoenix.
Yeah, but Spudio not being a part of that fight is what cost Sarpé his life. Had the Niflheim Wargs been 5 stacked, maybe they would not have lost him. Fire Giant now, the eye of aggression of Yomi Tanuki, and they've only got 4 members of the Niflheim Wargs to slow him down. Snatty, acting as a roving ward, will connect with Kana, and Fire Giant will connect with a whole lot of
Surely
damage.
Preds doesn't steal this one away, right? Okay, good. Preds, it made it interesting though. Blinks forward, unable to get the steal, and the Yomi Tanuki get by our metrics an early Fire Giant at 26 minutes and pull the biggest, earliest lead we've seen so far, just over 1,000 gold.
Now they can start to push down that left side lane yet again. Left Phoenix has respawned for the Niflheim Wargs, and the Yomi Tanuki have lost theirs, so they want to contend with these fire minion waves first. Then they can start to look elsewhere on the map. Luckily for the Yomi Tanuki, if they push up to that Phoenix and struggle to finish it off, Primal Fury will be respawning very shortly, so there are fallback options for the Order side. We got to talk about the siege defense potential of the Niflheim Wargs, though, and it's pretty high. One of the best counter-engage gods in the game is this Terra, so she should be able to keep her team re-sustained, potentially reapply some burst damage to Yomi Tanuki, angry on a traditional mage, and Tiamat should be able to keep these minion waves at bay with relative ease. And if the fight extends past that point, Yomi Tanuki have not got the best disengage options. Snatty, Tripno, both largely immobile gods and both great targets for the Niflheim Wargs. I think the Wargs defense looks best as long as they can elongate the fight. Yomi Tanuki would love these engagements to go very, very quickly. It's the initial siege attempt that I'm most interested in from this Order side.
A crumb of damage from the Wargs onto the tier 2 tower of the Tanuki over in solo lane, as the rest of the Tanuki group up and send their eyes left. Over in mid, Sada Dragon on the Nemesis, still 4-0-5. Initiation out from Snatty. No one pulled in to stun. Kana has found Tripno though, and so is the damage. Double stun onto the AMC, who is able to speed away thanks to the sprint, but the relic situation dire for the Yomi Tanuki for the rest of this FG.
Man, Snatty is just not connecting with these ultimates. I'm not even sure what the thought process is right there. Just walks up to the Phoenix line and says, all right, come here.
Yeah.
Every ability is still up for the Niflheim Wargs. There's no world where Snatty finds anything of value there unless you're willing to count one leap, and that's essentially all he gets. The Niflheim Wargs maintaining their base. Yomi Tanuki have been stuck here for a little while. The longer this goes, the better it is for the Wargs.
Leon, no good on the pull. Will have to back his way away. Close to having his ultimate back. Snatty is as well. 50% on both Tripno and Leon's ultimate. 50% on the Earthen Fury as well. Wargs would love to fight around that ultimate on their side. Just needs a couple auto attacks. This left side Phoenix does, but just hasn't been there. Another life of the party. This time dashed through by Kana. A leap out from Hydrogen. And he'll survive the onslaught this time, but Snatty will not. And the Baron hasn't quite hit its mark. An ultimate down from Sada Dragon onto Sarpé, and the Niflheim Wargs, they smell blood in the water.
Niflheim Wargs on the chase. The 4-stack from the Tanuki caught in a corridor. Great stun.
Bob and Leon, he's got some peel on the back of the fight with the knockup, but Sarpé able to dash forward. Hydrogen has to leap away. Leon left to die, and the Yomi Tanuki will not knock down the Phoenix, and the Niflheim Wargs will strip away FG from 2.
If the Niflheim Wargs keep up their aggression, Sada Dragon might look to make the exact play Spudio did earlier.
Sarpé is going mid.
If he goes right, he walks on a ward. If he goes too far left, he's shown on wave. This is the only spot Sada Dragon can stand, and he sneaks past.
He'll get it. Sada Dragon knocks down the ward and actually doesn't look for the Phoenix, not knowing where Sarpé is. And instead, the Niflheim Wargs will send their eyes to the left Phoenix, and they will get the left Phoenix. There they go. Knock it down. Wondered if Sada Dragon was able to walk in and deal enough damage there, but I suppose not knowing where Sarpé is, it's a heavy risk. You don't want to fully stagger out your team, and chooses instead just to clear the ward.
Yeah, once Sada Dragon realizes he's on top of a ward, says, okay, well, if somebody is nearby, they're stopping me no matter what. I've only got a vision on a couple, so decides to disengage, and probably the right call to make. Looking at the builds, though, I think Sada Dragon might even have the advantage in 1v1 up against Sarpé, as long as you can kill him before the tether procs its stun. So, neither here nor there on that call. I think good to not risk it. If Sada Dragon does die, it's very likely the Niflheim Wargs will get a lot more value
on that siege, likely knocking down both towers in mid, so does not take the risky play. That said, the Niflheim Wargs are still in the exact same position they were last time around on this Fire Giant dance. Left side Phoenix down for Yomi Tanuki, and that's just about it. The minion wave's not pushed up either. It's just Snatty on the left. Will benefit from teleport, should be able to join his team if the defense calls for it. Niflheim Wargs, though, will take notice. They have seen Snatty on the map now. It's just about how well they're able to dance around this aggression, how well they're able to bait out Yomi Tanuki. Sada Dragon far forward, meets up with Sarpe, is able to disengage.
Bubble does not get popped. Important for the Nemesis to hold on to that. Snatty will continue to push down the left side of the map. Fire Giant considered by the Niflheim Wargs. This one enhanced. You need to teleport into this one if you're Snatty, if you're the Tanuki, if you want to fight it. And Snatty is teleporting in to the fight on the right side. Fire Giant low on the right side. Fire Giant stolen by the Tanuki.
Wow.
But the fight after the fact, not looking too bad just yet for the Wargs. First kill,
He
one
lives.
fall. First kill does fall. And it's Hydrogen knocking down the first pin. The second pin is Spudio. Hydrogen's got a double. Could be more on the other end. Is Angry melted on. Tripno's got a double. Double ADC. Hello, I've come to play. On to game 3 we go.
Yomi Tanuki make it all in one fell swoop. Do not make us wait another 20 minutes for the end of this one. Fire Giant on 5, and all 5 incredibly healthy. The Niflheim Wargs just stack up too much inside of the Fire Giant pit, and the Yomi Tanuki are not a team that you are allowed to make that mistake against. Mid Phoenix, the only thing standing between this squad and a game 3, and it's going to be 30 seconds on the respawn. They can take a victory lap first.
Niflheim Wargs, they had to watch their Titan go down. The Titan is tankier, but not tanky enough to delay the end of this game. And in 32 minutes after a 52-minute game 1, the Yomi Tanuki will send us on to a game number 3. There was only one way that this day was ending, Mifflin, and it was with one more game 3. And the Yomi Tanuki, and how impactful this is. One more team to progress to the next group, and one more game separates us.
Man, it's just so exciting to have one match. We started the day with best of ones, and we're going to end it with a best of one.
We had a mountain of potential games to go through.
So much potential energy so quickly turned into kinetic.
And now we've only got one more potential game, and we're going to go to
we've
2.
got one more literal game. It's happening.
Yes, one more literal game to be had here today.
I saw my dog 13 hours ago. It's been 13 hours.
And that's really the most impactful thing on long days like this, seeing our dogs, right?
That's right.
That is what it is. Well, my parents have Ramsey, so she's doing just fine. They sent me a picture. She's napping on the back deck.
Yeah, my dog's alone.
That's brutal. I'm going to console Mifflin while we take a break prior to game number 3.
Charlie. Hey, Charlie. Charlie, get up, man. Hey, we got.
I don't want.
No, Charlie, we still have we still got another game to go, man. We got.
Okay.
We got to get to this. I know
They won?
Yes, they won.
The Tanuki won?
Yes, the Tanuki won. We got to go with another. Here, hold on. Let me just deal with that right now. We got another game we got to go through here, man. An impressive bounce back though by the Yomi Tanuki. Really a much more commanding game out of them than we've seen from a lot of our matchups today. Specifically, able to find a win. Though I will say that left Phoenix really felt like a kryptonite for the Yomi Tanuki. They struggled to drop that left bird.
Yeah, what you guys just saw was movie magic. We actually watched the game, and it was intense. I will say, Leon with these huge knockups, we're setting up so much for the team. The double hunter comp, once again, working in spades.
Yeah, double hunter definitely proving it to be very fruitful for a lot of these teams out here, even the Baron. So we're combining the two biggest factors, the double hunter and the Baron, coming out to be a very dangerous factor up against a lot of these teams. Dragon also going 4-0-8 does not help against the Niflheim Wargs, or does not help the Niflheim Wargs case.
The Tanuki.
It doesn't hurt the Tanuki. It definitely hurts the Wargs over everything else. 26,000 damage out of Tripno, though, with this Amuzen Cobb mid. And it was funny, we what was it? We came back and we're like, oh, man, who's this AMC going on Tripno? Oh, that's bad, because that's a good pick for Tripno. Bad news bears here for the Wargs.
Yeah, and looking at Leon's stat line, it really seemed like he just went second jungler that game. I mean, he was setting up so much, doing a fair bit of damage on the full tank Sylvanas, and then getting lots of last hits. I think he had like 4 or 5 kills. Probably it was 3 when I saw it. I just assumed that he got a few more out on the line, but it just seemed like he got a lot of those last hits.
Well, the good thing is we had to jump right into picks and bans. Game number 3, the final game of the day. We have come into this one with 2 best of 1s, 2 best of 3s, and we're going the full distance in every single one of those 11 straight games between all of these matchups. I was going to say 11 full games, but every game is technically a full game. 11 total games for our 5 sets out here. Niflheim Wargs will be the first pick this time around. Chernobog Klina up against the Mercury Jingwei bands for the side of the Tanuki.
You ever seen bands fly this quickly?
Actually, I saw them fly faster last game. This is they're actually going really slow right now.
Yeah, but they quickly put that Sylvanas up there, not wanting to deal with the second jungler. So taking that one away, Leon will have to go on something different. Yamoja also going to be taken away this time by the Tanuki, so that can't be an option either. We saw Leon play the Xing 10 a bit ago, so maybe that could be an option. But the Wargs, they have first pick here, so the power is in their hands.
They got a lot of options available to themselves. The Clean taken away, the Jingwei as well. Those have been kind of two of the top picks out of everything else. The Baron Samedi still available for either of these two teams to take. Now, if the Baron does get picked up, and still we have yet to see if Snatty is going to bring out this very weird pick that he's been talking about, that he hyped up at the very start of the day. Technically, that he hyped up with the pregame interview over everything else. I just want to know if we're going to see it or not.
All right, if they climb back, put this game, yeah, I was going to say, if they climb back, put this game into, in my eyes, like triple overtime. That's what I'm going to call what we're in right now.
It feels like it.
Yeah, there's no way he's whipping out some questionable pick. That Baron Samedi looks so sick. The whole fight that won them the game really started from Snatty in the left lane, pushing some fire minions, teleporting in behind the fire giant, and then just wrapping around and hitting a massive ultimate. So no problems running that Baron back. Could be in the solo lane, could be in the support role, but given just how good it looked, I imagine it's probably going back to Snatty.
And add that Nemesis to the party, which means you're going to have a lot of shred when it comes to this assassin. On the opposite end, the Niflheim Wargs will pick up Hun Bats, a guy that's been banned away multiple times after the success that it had in the hands of Hex Mambo, specifically with Johnny able to find a lot of big plays with that. But once again, this Baba Yaga picked up for the Niflheim Wargs. I want to piggyback off the conversation that Miff and Dave were. The Battle of the Brews. Which one is more important? Which one's more powerful?
Is it which one is more powerful, or is it which one would they drink?
I think it was which one would they drink. Would you drink a Baba's Brew or would you drink a Baron's Brew first?
I mean, I'll try any drink once, you know, just to see if it's interesting.
Though I would imagine that the Baba's Brew probably doesn't taste very good, considering it's like it's like an Eye of Newt, a dragon scale, and I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember what the third ingredient is there.
That's true. Baron's Brew is for his party. Right. Baba's Brew is literally trying to murder you. So I imagine Baron's Brew would be more enticing. But AMC being run back once again, big damage last time around, and I have to imagine it will soon follow suit. Smart to ban at least the Hou-Yi trying to get another Hunter out of there, because the AMC just had a great performance last game in that mid lane, so another Hunter certainly could follow soon.
It's going to be Geb and Kepri banned away by the Yomi, Tanuki, Terra, and Hou-Yi for the Niflheim Wargs. That leaves a couple of options up to the Tanuki. A few Hunters still left available. Well, I was going to say the Heimdall, but it's not. The Rom is still up. That's a god that we haven't seen in a hot minute here today, at the very least. Charlie, Rom seemed to have been such a popular kind of second, third pick when these Jingweis are picked up, when these Chernobyls maybe do make it through. But it's going to be largely absent and will remain absent in this game, as AMC and On Her are the two Hunters.
The sound. That's going to be a very
Has risen once again.
Yeah, it has.
What do we say to death?
Not today.
Not today.
Yeah, that is going to be the option. Holding on. I can only assume they're holding on to Elion's pick 4 last. So that support role, still trying to get a counter matchup up against the Ymir. Few things come to mind. Anything that can buy a Phantom Shell. That's the thing that comes to mind.
You definitely want to get a Phantom Shell going against the Ymir at this point.
Especially with an AMC and a Baron and a Nemesis.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that 3 of your gods definitely cannot get past that wall without some kind of extra assistance. I literally lost the train of thought of what I was going to say next, actually.
Those Weimer walls, man, they'll get you.
the what?
Weimer. Y-M-I-R. His name's Weimer.
You're really doing this to me.
11 games in, you're laughing at Weimer?
I am. It's because we're 11 games in that I'm laughing at something like that.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a strong pick here. I like it. I think it'll cut off the walls in the Fire Giant fight, made out the Phantom Shell. And now you got more walls.
But now you definitely need a Phantom Shell.
You might need 2.
You probably do want to get 2. Do you consider...
I think Tripno could benefit from getting a Phantom Shell as well. So a Beats Phantom Shell on the mid AMC, I think, could probably be pretty useful, especially if you're baiting it out with the Odin Cage and then using the Ymir Wall, or vice versa. Either one, I think you'll get some fair value.
Sorry.
It was just Weimer.
I don't know why Weimer got me. You broke me with Weimer.
It's just Weimer.
Give me the pillow. I need to go back to sleep. I need to go back to bed, man. The Weimer got me. So
We're still waiting on El Leon's
I'm
pick.
about to close the laptop and walk out, man.
You never know what El Leon's going to pick here. Something that doesn't get hurt by the Ymir Wall. I'm not going to say it again because I don't want, I want to make sure we can get through
I'm literally
this.
crying right now.
I know. I can see tears in your
Oh,
eyes.
man. I don't know why that got me so bad, dude. Oh, man. I'm sorry. I'm trying to Let me try and get back on track here. You're trying to pull me back in. I appreciate that so much, Trelly. They're zooming it back onto me. Don't zoom it back.
I'm trying as best I can.
They're making it worse by showing it too.
There we go.
Hey,
Fafnir, finally.
Hey, there we go. An actual pick popped out here and a different look for Elion with this Fafnir. You're going to change up and talk really about that double hunter dynamic. You know, this is something that we always kind of associate with Fafnir. You pick up a couple of hunters, maybe an auto-attack style jungler, can really bring a lot of value for this pick.
I mean, when we first saw the Tanuki going into this double hunter draft, that's the first thing I said was Fafnir will be very strong. You can jump over the Ymir wall, which is going to be obviously one of these things you want to try to avoid. And then you can buff your double hunter. I see no problem with this. And honestly, it should have been probably prioritized a little bit earlier, but it's still going to work out here, I think, last pick.
Yeah, it should be a good pick here for the Yomi Tanuki as we're getting ready to jump into game number 3, our 11th game of the day. And we're only on day 2, Charlie. We still have 6 more days of Smite Masters to go. Not in a row, obviously. We are going to take a little bit of a break between our first 4 days and our last 4, but we do still have 2 more to go throughout this weekend here between these teams. The Niflheim Wargs, if they can find a win, they'll join their EU brethren to try and face off against NA tomorrow. Otherwise, it may be a North American predominant third group if the Yomi Tanuki can make their way in.
Yeah, we do joke about the length of these matches, but we love to see some good competitive Smite. If the Yomi Tanuki are going to put us to game 3, they better bring the best they have. And looking at this draft, they certainly have the way to do so. But the Wargs, they brought something interesting as well. The Odin cage on top of the Hoonbat's ult. So forcing into using your beads and your shells, that's going to be hard to deal with a Baba Yaga in the back. I'd say the Wargs, they also came to play.
Yeah, a lot of lockdown on the side of the Niflheim Wargs. Meanwhile, Yomi Tanuki are definitely going to have to deal with that. Multiple Phantom Shells, multiple sets of beads. Just about everybody, I imagine, on the side of the Wargs are going to, or I'm sorry, on the side of the Tanuki are going to have to get some form of beats to deal with that Hunbats. And I think you were right to say 2. I would even maybe argue 3 shells need to be picked up to go against this.
Yeah, just trying not to get trapped in the cage. And if you could immune that Odin cage, he doesn't bring too much else to the table. So if you're able to just either break the cage, which the Fafnir Dragon Breath will do. I forgot to touch on that. Terrible at my job. Breaking that cage very quickly in the dragon form. You'll get out of the cage, and maybe you don't even need too many of those shells. But either way, I think as long as you're playing as safely as possible and just making sure your carries don't die in the cage, you should be getting a fair bit of value.
This is a completely irrelevant topic, but bringing it back to something that you mentioned on the last desk, you got a Baron Somni. You need to make sure to at least pick up 2 other people plus himself to get the brew. All 5 of them picked it up last game.
Yep,
You
and
think
they
that
won.
was the official win con?
I'm not going to say that they're watching the broadcast in the player booth and they saw me say that and then also won because of that, but I'm not saying they didn't do that either.
Do you think that they need to pick up all 5 here to win this one?
They should.
Well, let's see if they do pick it up all 5. Let's see if the Tanuki can bring this back and take it home, or will it be the Wargs? Let's jump into game 3.
Into game 3 we go between the Wargs
That was
and
the
the
fastest push.
What?
Did you see how quickly we got in the game?
Yeah, we needed to because I was,
Mike's good at this.
I was staring
Fastest
dead into
gun
the
in the
camera.
West.
All right, Miff, 1 more game. That's all we've got. Now watch. Aaron's gonna come back here, pull out some. He's gonna
That's
dust
the league
off.
commish, by the way.
He's gonna dust off the SPO bylaws and say, in the event,
In the event of a 13-hour day, there must be a 15th
there must be a 14th
or
hour.
14th. Oh my God! What?
Did you just jump over 14?
I don't know, Weimer, man.
Yeah, did that break you as much? You and I were dumbfounded. At least when we're breaking and I'm crying on the desk, it's because of like the Herculean hoofs or something like
yeah,
that.
who
Right?
farted? It's 5:30 a.m.
Oh my
for
God, I
Angry.
forgot about that.
That
Angry-
guy's like across the ocean.
Yeah, Angry is not here. I forgot Angry's. He's from Romania. And he's
Good God! Like the salad?
No, it's a Caesar, bro. That's Rome.
No, I was like there's like Romanian
There's
lettuce.
Romanian lettuce.
Yeah, I owned that actually.
Their exports are lettuce and Smite players. So yeah, actually, jokes
What
aside,
percentage of the Romanian GDP
all right.
is angry?
it depends if the Tanuki win this tournament or not. If they get the prize money, it'll bump up. Jokes aside, I feel for Angry. 5:33 in the morning, playing in a best of 3, another best of 3 of Smite.
Yeah, for his life, by the way.
Yeah, for a tournament life. Yeah, I don't want to undercut the tone of how important this match is.
Super serious.
One team goes on, the other team goes home. We get to do it all again tomorrow with one of these two teams joining us between the Wargs and the Tanuki. And you know what? I will give props to Snatty. You go like 0-3 or 0-4 in lane on the Baron, and you look down at your KDA at the end of that game,
Run it back.
and you run it back.
Wild, the confidence that Snatty is clearly playing with right now.
Is it as rough into an Odin as it might have been a King Arthur? It wasn't even,
might be
it was,
worse.
It was what, Sarpei putting a lot of pressure over there?
Yeah, and this time Sarpei is not missing because it's a giant circle inside of a giant circle. So Snatty gonna have to play pretty safe in that lane.
Sarpei misses at least one Fear No Evil onto a Baron Zombie at some point this game.
There is a 0% chance.
You've doomed him twice now.
Okay, my bad.
Now he misses 2 Fear No Evils onto a Baron Zombie at some point here in this game. But you might feel, Myth, that the matchup
Dude, my seat is wet from the water I spilled on
from
it.
the water you spilled on it.
That is crazy.
The good news is you've taken off your watch, so there's no more checking of the watch and spilling of the water.
I'm also out of water.
Oh my! You know what you just did?
What's that?
You're gonna get Mike to go and get you water, which I hate.
I don't think Mike's moving again today. Man.
No, he shouldn't.
He's tired.
No, he shouldn't. You operate camera face long enough, and you got to kick up those feet. You do feel like the solo lane matchup maybe a bit worse now into the Odin myth. Do you just feel like the cage is the big difference maker?
It's not so much the matchup itself is worse, it's how Odin facilitates the gank. The Niflheim Wargs are putting a lot of emphasis on the right-hand side of the map. King Arthur, pretty decent at locking down. Not as decent as legitimately spawning a wall around somebody in a circle. So, I really think it's all about Sarpei getting there and making use of the Odin.
Leon looking for the purple buff, and Leon steals away the purple buff under the eyes of 3. But will he live for his troubles? A nice impale onto Preds. But the up-down deals some damage. Leon desperately dodging everything. With some help of Hydrogen, Leon goes back through.
Triple
Unreal.
freeze.
And first blood over to the Yomi Tanuki after Leon breaks their ankles. Could be another stun here in just a moment, but there won't be. Purple buff and kill to go, and the Tanuki strike first.
Hydrogen's Leap's going to be coming back up shortly. Spudio does not have enough mana to use the Galar Horn, but it will be a fizzle from here. Purple buff invade successful, and first blood goes the way of Yomi Tanuki as well. Large separation, just 3.5 minutes into this game, but the first 3 minutes of the game make not for a win. It's what you can do with those timers. It's how you're able to leverage the lead that you've already established. And looking at how the duo lane of the Niflheim Wargs are addressing it, it's freeze the wave and make sure Leon can't step back up. If he eats a freeze, I don't care how many juke shoes, how many pairs of them he's got, Leon will fall.
Fred started off with Sprint earlier on in this game. Could have made an impact there, but unable to allow Sarpei to escape. Team fight's also going to be pretty impacted here by both Preds. You mentioned the wall for Preds, and then building a wall around someone in a circle is what Kana will be doing later on here in this game.
I broke it down, man.
Technically, it is one continuous wall.
In a circle.
In a circle. Kana blinks forward, hopefully to get back to some of that wave, but won't have blink for a little bit longer here. Phantom Shell, it must happen for the Yomi Tanuki here, because if I'm Tripno, I hate a Ymir wall anyway in a jungle, but now I just got Kana jumping on top of me. Or you hope you can clear it out fast enough with some of your auto attacks. Certainly an option there as well, but Phantom Shell feels like a literal get-out-of-jail-free card at times. I imagine we'll see a few more of those than just Leon.
Yeah, I'm thinking you might need 2 or 3. It's not just the fact that it's multiple walls that can be spawned by the Niflheim Wargs, Ymir and Odin, as you highlight, but it's also the individual matchups. Snatty, Sada Dragon, and Tripno have no ways in their kit to deal with either of the structures spawned up. So 1, Phantom Shell will go a long way. 2, will help out a fair deal as well, but I think you might legitimately have to pick up 3, especially considering how the 3 targets that are going to be locked down are playing in the team fight. Snatty will be acting as a frontliner, as will Sada Dragon. Tripno in the backline on his own. Means that you're going to need those Phantom Shells split between your front and back line. Makes it very difficult to figure out who's going to pick it up, where are you going to allocate that relic, who's willing to sacrifice one of their slots for the betterment of the team. I'm keeping my eyes on the Tanuki's relic slots.
Sarpei, a different type of initiation, of course, with that Fear No Evil. We've seen the rise of Hunbat today, Myth, and it has impacted many of the games played. What do you think has brought about I don't even know the word, the reprioritization of
resurgence.
The resurgence would have been the better word of Hunbats here into this meta.
I think it's nature of how long the games have been going. As Hunbots gets further and further in the game, all that CDR starts to stack up, and you'll have Fear No Evil more often.
There's a cage around Snatty this time, but Kana has taken damage from Sada Dragon. Fear No Evil doesn't connect onto Snatty under the Baron, and there's a kill anyway onto Kana as Sarpei will be left running away. And a kill for the Yomi Tanuki over in solo. Could it be more? Sarpei blinks back through and then leaps back the other way. And the Yomi Tanuki will have to be satisfied with one.
That's a saucy play from Sarpei just to clear out that wave. Slice and Dice on its own likely would have been able to finish off the Hunbots, the HP that he was at. So great play to maintain his own life. Sada Dragon caught in the jungle, but Angry stuck inside of his own tower. Will not be able to join him to help out. Preds drops the freeze just to make sure that blue buff does go the way of the Niflheim Wargs. Despite Kana falling down, he can at least return to lane and get some mana and CDR for his trouble.
I'm surprised that the Tanuki are able to get this Nemesis again for Sada Dragon, which is such an effective pick in game number 2 for Sada Dragon. And already off to a good start here in game 3, a 2-0 start. Both of the kills that the Yomi Tanuki have gotten. Some over on left, and then of course that one over on right has kept Kana just a bit further behind, who is itemized into the Blackthorn myth, which was all the rage for a little while. It was just Blackthorn over in the solo lane. Has fallen by the wayside a little bit. Leon able to leap out of the red buff pit. Not successful this time. But Kana still feeling like there's some good stat stick on that item worthwhile for a pickup.
Yeah, and just having that CDR in the passive going to be very nice for Kana. Having a little bit of additional power as well. It would help out, especially considering the build path that Snatty has elected to go for. No defense in the build, at least until that second item. So any additional power on this Odin is going to go a long way. That said, you're also matching some of that HP stick that Snatty's getting from the Warlock staff. Very curious to see where he goes elsewhere in the build. Last time around, Snatty was a little bit slow to pick up physical defense. This time around, though, hasn't been accosted nearly as much. Should be able to match the build presence that Kana's got in his own regard, so not as concerned for the Baron Samdi this time around. Yomi Tanuki doing a great job establishing their pace in the first 10 minutes. And that Pyromancer will be coming towards the map in just about 1 minute. So that has generally been the first neutral objective to fall in the meta as it has established in the SCC. So I'm expecting that's where the Yomi Tanuki are going to put their aggression going forward. And playing around Snatty right now is very nice, considering he's already got a lead.
A decent 2,000 gold lead for the Tanuki. Not used to seeing that this early in these games. Though when we have seen it, it has largely meant nothing. The comebacks have been swift from both of these teams. What's the look you're giving me for there, Myth?
I just got hit by the itis. Like, I am tired.
What?
Yeah, like after Thanksgiving, like when you eat a lot of food and you get tired, like you don't call that like itis? Dude, I picked that up at Amazon when I was moving boxes for 12 hours a day. Don't fact check me.
No, I'm not. I'm looking up the name of the chemical in turkey that makes you tired.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Huh.
Hold on, give me like 2 seconds here. This is just from my brain.
Okay.
It's tryptophan, which is not the Tanuki's mid laner. It is a chemical in turkey that you eat enough of it and it kind of slows you down, makes you tired.
Yeah, you eat enough apples. There's cyanide in the seeds, or arsenic, some one of the two.
That's an important distinction to make.
I think they'll both kill you in large volumes.
It's so funny. That J-Mac gets broken by Weimer and you and I laughing at cyanide apple. Isn't that what happened in Snow White? She ate too many apples?
No, she ate one bad apple from a witch, you idiot.
Every team has one bad apple and it's you.
What is going on here, man?
There's a whole bushel of apples she could have chosen and chose the one bad one.
Oh no, the witch handed her the evil apple, on purpose.
I know. Sarpei drops the
Wasn't an accident.
It's an accident. She ate it and chose it.
She didn't choose.
She put her trust in the wrong person.
Yeah,
Angry, trusting that the house will disengage from this fight. Kana blinks forward, but there's too much damage and a stinger into the back of Preds. And now the Yomi Tanuki, satisfied with one, double back for the Pyro.
Pyromancer pulled out, but Sarpei, still healthy nearby, is unwilling to step up on the defense. This is starting to get into very dangerous territory. The Yomi Tanuki establishing a very sizable lead 11 minutes in. Gold Fury may be difficult to kill in 9-5, but not so difficult that a 3,000 gold lead shouldn't be enough to push you in favor of it. So keep your eyes on the Tanuki. I'd like to see them try and desync these neutral objective spawns. If they can keep Pyromancer and Goldfear on different timers, we won't see the reaction play that we saw last time around from Niflheim Wargs, which is just to do the opposite, whatever the Tanuki are doing. And now that I've got my obligatory analysis out of the way,
I have to do my job.
yeah, how are you trusting the evil witch in Snow White? She's
Yeah,
like in
there's
like
so
a
many-
black cloak,
Right.
and
Like definition of a villain.
Like
right?
if you were to look up like evil crone in the dictionary, like it
I
would
imagine,
be her.
I imagine she looks very similar to the person who's guarding the Mountain Dew cauldron on the left side of the map that you're willingly drinking out
No,
of.
it's literally-
the apple probably just looked tasty.
I'm thinking.
And you're like, how can you trust her? But I'm gonna drink a vat of neon
yeah, well, because
acid on
there's
the left
not
of the
an
map.
actual evil witch who's hovering near that. You know what I mean?
No shot there's
There's
not a
no way
witch.
there's an evil person saying, "Oh, Mifflin, come partake of my cauldron."
That's what the harpies are doing. Isn't that what harpies do in lore? They like
No,
beckon you in.
you're thinking of sirens.
Yes,
Oh my God!
I've been drinking too much of the.
Is that what the Baja does? Oh no!
It makes you funny and good at your job.
And so handsome.
Well, you said it, not me. Kana drops a cage around Snotty, and Snotty walks out.
That's literally all that happens.
That is all that happened. Now that my obligatory play-by-play is done. All right. No. We can't do this.
It's the third
We are
game.
so close to the finish line. We are so close. We can do it.
Can't get fired now.
We literally can't. I say that.
Boss ain't in the building.
Let's roll the dice. Yomi Tanuki do pull themselves a few thousand gold in the lead here. The Niflheim Wargs still hovering by. Some important power spikes hit by the Wargs. I look towards the mid lane and Angry. Late game scaling is what you're hoping for this Baba Yaga. You've gotten a Charon's coin nicely underway. The Divine Ruin with some flat pen as well. Should make an impact on these fights, but you need Preds to live through it. We'll end up waltzing away from the initiation.
Yeah, wise selection of the Wingblade from Preds there. He knows that he's going to be the target of that ultimate from Sada Dragon pretty often. Now that Sada Dragon's realized that every time he ults Preds, he's only making him faster, maybe we see something different. Preds, though, a second lease on life from the initial Wingblade was not enough to dissuade him from stepping back up yet again. But a great wall separates him from Tripno and Sada Dragon, securing his own escape path. I'm keeping my eyes on the Tanuki. I would love to see them keep up this aggression, this high level of forcing these plays.
Whoa, Tripno deals most of the damage to Angry, but it's Sada Dragon who snags the kill. A stinger, some bees, and a clap from a nemesis. Able to shut down Angry right as I'm talking about scaling, getting online later into this game.
It's called a caster's curse.
That is a caster's curse, and it was about time I had one. Tanuki, send Angry to the grayscale.
And you said that with vitriol. What do you got against Angry, man? You know what? Angry looks like the witch from Snow White, Baba Yaga. Like
Oh
that,
my God!
That's
Thank God
it.
you clarified.
Can we get the cam on
No,
Angry?
no, we can't.
At,
Tanuki, grab
at
the
4
gold for-
a.m. in Romania?
Yeah, no one's looking good at 5:30 in the morning, man. Sarpei stunned it down by Snatty, and this is what the Wargs need. They need something to grab onto here in game number 3. Now, just 3 kills. I nearly said at 38,420 gold, but I stopped myself.
Imagine we just read all the numbers from now on. Man, that's crazy that there's 2,120 experience separating these guys as Spudio partakes of the cauldron on his return to base.
1,850 gold in hand for Tripno with 1,781.
I'm sorry, how much gold was that for Trip now?
1,880. 1,883 gold. 1,800.
It's going to go up by 3, man. It's by 3s.
I know, and I kept getting delayed.
Just
And speaking of
predict.
3s, this is a perfect tie-in there. Speaking of 3s,
Okay.
3 shells picked up for the Yomi Tanuki.
Hey, we called that.
3 Phantom. You called that. I'm giving you all the credit.
Oh, thanks.
And all 3 of the members of the Tanuki will need it.
And not a single one of those shells upgraded to Phantom status just yet. So
Spooky.
every single wall that Preds and Kana, circular or otherwise, spawn up will find their value until somebody decides to upgrade one of those relics. Yomi Tanuki will be able to do so shortly as Pyromancer is on the respawn. So if they are able to get that gold for themselves, you got to think that's where we're going to allocate at least some of it. That said, the Niflheim Wargs, realizing that there are no Phantom Shells just yet, and there will be a whole lot very shortly, should be willing to take this fight despite being down gold. It's going to get a lot worse very quickly once those relics are upgraded.
Yomi. I don't know. I don't know what. He didn't even say anything. Yomi Tanuki. They did end up staggering out the neutral objectives somewhat heavily. And so now the Pyromancer is back up on the map. And the Oni Fury left and respawning. A pull in onto Kana. And a stun connected, but the beads on the other side. And the wall effective this time. Kana limps away. It's about time Snatty on this Baron felt comfortable in a laning phase, right? After an 0-3 start
He's still leveled
in
down.
game 2. All right, he hasn't died 3 times. And at least gotten a kill. And that actually is a decent look for Kana, despite receiving some pressure so far here in this lane. Kana has maintained a 1-level lead.
He has been quite able to. I think it's because Sarpei has been a lot less likely to rotate over towards this lane, so Kana's been solo splitting a whole lot. We've seen now that Sada Dragon and Snatty together are going to struggle to shut down this Odin. Because it's an Odin, the second ability giving you essentially a mini Nike ultimate is going to help out a good deal here. That's Pyromancer still up. Elion meets up with Angry and Preds in mid and does just that, just checking in and saying hello.
Hey.
I think Yomi Tanuki, it's curious. I really feel like they could be continually pressing the advantage. Now their gold lead's around 4,000. Pyromancer's right there.
Yeah.
You know that Odin Cage was down. Operative word was, no longer is. There were opportunities where they could have looked towards this a little bit sooner. Maybe concerned about their ability to burn it with hydrogen on the opposite side of the map.
Or ending the game too quickly.
Or ending the game too quickly, or the fact that they haven't got any Phantom Shells just yet. It's
That'll
probably the
get him
Phantom Shell thing.
that'll get him out of any wall,
Regardless of shape.
circular or otherwise. There is some analysis buried deep in there somewhere about Phantom Shell and not having it, but the Pyromancer pulled anyway, and Cage connects on
got
the
it.
3. But Kana is all alone. The Wargs do take the Pyro, but Kana, alone with 3 members of the Tanuki, ends up dying on the back end of this fight, and now the Tanuki with a 1-man advantage, hoping to settle the score just a bit. Preds throws
sick.
up the wall, gets stunned anyway, and will die on the other end as well.
Preds does fall down. That was a cool wall, though, to maintain his life for just a couple more seconds. Now Yomi Tanuki, 5 strong with 2 dead. Preds and Kana sinks timers, 20 seconds left on their respawn. Should be able to keep up this aggression. Tier 1 mid tower will fall down. Angry, the only one here on defense, can't do it all on his own, especially with all 5 members of Yomi Tanuki stacked up in mid. Now the objectives, similarly. What are you laughing about?
Bro, I don't know at this point.
Just the grand irony of it all.
Right, when you really zoom out,
Yeah.
you know, you get like Earth level, and you're just looking at us.
Doug's not listening. He didn't zoom out.
Just zooms in.
Okay.
You know, Doug
Spiteful.
does what he wants, you know?
That guy's a loose cannon. Doug is definitely the loose cannon of hi-rez.
Doug's drinking out of the Mountain Dew fountain. Wow!
Wow, he is a loose cannon.
Do you want to be on the team that has the flowers on top of your towers? Or do you want to be on the
Flower
team?
towers?
The flower towers. You got or if Spudio keeps backing up, you want to have those guys, like the crystal cauldrons on top of your towers.
I'm actually a massive fan of flowers. I went through a huge phase in high school where I thought it'd be really cool to learn flower language. I thought girls would really like it. It does not come up. So if anyone at home is thinking about that,
I didn't.
Think about it.
That's not a thing.
flower language?
Yeah.
Yeah, all flowers have like intrinsic meaning.
All right.
You don't know about flower language? We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, please. Later, we'll have to never discuss it again. Yomi
Yeah,
Tanuki.
it so seldom comes up.
Yomi, it didn't pay off for you. Yomi Tanuki, the team with the flowers on their side, also have the gold lead on their side, heading into what could be the next big objective. Good freeze, good wall. That connects onto Trip No. Still no Phantom Shell, but an upgraded shell for Trip No. But that wall doesn't end up making much of an impact. And the Yomi Tanuki are able to back themselves away. The last Pyromancer taken by the Wargs, remember, but did lose Kana in the process. Wargs, though, Myth, they're still showing some face here around this Oni Fury, despite being a few thousand gold down.
Yeah, the gold lead's been about the same for
Phantom Shell.
upwards of 6 minutes now. Phantom Shell finally picked up. It's Hydrogen who picks his up first. As Angry is getting aggressive in mid. Could have potentially saw Snatty try and chase that one out. Would have at least been able to force the ultimate from Angry with the Baron Somni ultimate. Decides not to do so regardless. Niflheim Wargs, as you said, still showing presence around the Fury itself.
you.
But Yomi Tanuki can't really pull it with all that vision afforded to the Wargs, and similarly, the Wargs
Man.
can't do it themselves.
I'm thinking about a big cage into a Baba Yaga ultimate being like just a massive team fight here for the Wargs. If
Might see
Angry,
it.
if Kana is able to find it. Very grouped up now are the Tanuki, but Preds unable to do much. Tripno puts him to sleep, and Preds now back and respawning in 30 seconds. The Niflheim Wargs unable to answer back, though rallying forward.
Ooh, big
Sarpay, ultimate onto 2, but an impale great from Hydrogen to disengage.
It is. Costs Sarpay his beads, but similarly costs Hydrogen his own as well. Looking at the relics, is about even usage across the board. Beads maintained for the majority of the Niflheim Wargs, though. So the initiation of the Yomi Tanuki going to be largely mitigated. All that said, it still is a 1-for-0 trade. Preds falls down, and it's the Tanuki pulling out the Oni Fury. Spudio nearby. Gonna try.
Spudio doesn't take it away. One auto attack would have been a fun way to steal away the Fury. Not to be, though. The Yomi Tanuki able to extend the lead out just a bit further. 4.4k gold. Start to add up a little bit going into this next Fire Giant. Still some power spikes being hit by the Wargs, despite a bit of a gold discrepancy. What are you looking at me for?
Well, I was just, when you're talking to somebody, you like make eye contact.
I'm not talking, I mean, yeah, I suppose I'm talking to you. I'm more
Yeah.
talking in general and about the power spikes that the Wargs are getting. Deathbringer picked up for this Heimdall, a Soul Reaver completed for Angry, a Titan's Bane for Sarpay, so the damage not necessarily lack.
No, not just yet. The damage isn't necessarily the thing separating these teams, though. It's the applicable CC, the usage of these ultimates, and so far with a single Phantom Shell,
Whoa.
they've been
Oh.
largely mitigated.
Kana unable to steal that away, drops the cage, but a life for the party, pulling the Odin right back towards the Yomi Tanuki. Jump in onto Preds, and a whole lot of damage on the other side. It's Fire Giant plus kill now for the Yomi Tanuki, but Sada Dragon,
Yikes.
unhappy, was looking for more, ends up backing away because, again, not a lack of damage from the Wargs.
Not at all. That was a quick turnaround onto Sada Dragon, who will be able to resustain pretty quickly between Fire Giant and the healing of Snatty once the team fight starts up yet again. 15 seconds left on Pred's respawn. Nobody from the Niflheim Wargs willing to step up to defend this tier 2. Luckily for the Wargs, 24 minutes in rather, there are plenty of towers still standing. Tier 1 on the solo side knocked out by an enhanced minion wave. And the Yomi Tanuki can head back to base, spend up the gold of a 1-team fight, as well as the objectives after they clear out this Pyromancer, then resurge, try and find that aggression again. That said, Sarpay might be caught out here, but Leon on his own can't do a whole lot.
Yeah, Leon has been doing a lot this set, has really stepped up for this Yomi Tanuki team. Support play has been fantastic, close to 100% kill participation throughout a lot of these games. Tripno needs to be careful, can catch a couple of auto attacks from Spudio and lose a hefty margin of his HP. Silver Branch Bow on the back end of a largely ability-based build for Tripno will diversify that damage just a bit and keep the AMC moving forward. One Phantom Shell upgraded so far, has to be.
It's blowing my mind that it's still only
In your mind,
one.
is that like an immediate upgrade, like as soon as you can?
Generally, but it hasn't come up. Like, Kana is not
Right,
finding
Kana jumps in
massive
and just like
gauges.
dies.
Like immediately, Preds is 0-4, not to mince words, but he's not spotting a whole lot of walls in the grayscale, so I'm
Circular
not
or
going to complain
otherwise.
about it, circular or otherwise.
No, it's only straight for Ymir, for Weimer.
Oh, man.
Well, it's not going to break me. Because that was just a whole moment, right?
Yeah, he had to be there.
You had to. Everyone was there. Everyone who's watching this game was there with us in the room when Weimer shattered the mental of the desk for just a little bit of time. Now have to be back with us
Do
potentially
you think
shortly.
they're just in the green room geeking, hearing you say Weimer?
Hearing me say Weimer?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the moment's passed.
Okay.
That's like a moment where you're trying to take things seriously. You're on the desk, really trying to break it down, and then 12 hours of work hits you, and you just can't do it anymore.
my God.
Like all the damage
Oh my
of
God.
the Tanuki hits you in the face if you're Kana.
Who needs Phantom
That
Shell?
was a Weimer of a moment for Kana. Just everything hits him all at once, and it's just overwhelming. It needs to take a break.
Yeah, so the analysis I was going to make of, Phantom Shells feel really good here simply doesn't matter if you're going to remove them from the team fight before it even starts. 40 seconds left on Kana's respawn, and El Leon is transformed.
No shot the game ends here, right? Well, the Tanuki would like to. They're looking for a fight. as the fight starts with LA on, but could end with
Wow.
the Fear No Evil. My God, it's massive from Sarpei, but only one kill has been picked up, but that is enough to delay the Tanuki, and backpedal they do.
Left side Phoenix still standing, and Yomi Tanuki take notice, would like to move back forward and try and re-siege it. That sets Sarpei. Does connect the Sacred Monkey onto Snatty, but does not continue his onslaught from there. Niflheim Wargs with a 5-man ultimate from their jungler are able to defend 4 versus 5 against the Fire Giant and maintain their own base. Still a bit of time left on this Fire Giant, I believe about 40 seconds until that buff wears off. So Yomi Tanuki have the opportunity to go ahead and pick up that Primal Fury before the Fire Giant respawns, making it that much easier for them to get the next Fire Giant. I think the Niflheim Wargs, despite having a very successful defense on their own base, would likely benefit greatly from finding a defense in neutral territory. Just because you're able to do it once doesn't mean it's going to be that easy, especially against a double hunter composition. So Wargs should step up to neutral objectives. Not this one, the one that's happening on your screen right now, the one that's going to happen on your screen in literally 1 minute.
Myth, I would like to take a moment to wish
Please.
you a happy 11 p.m. So we have
No way, dude. I took my clock. I took my watch off on purpose.
What is a watch if not a wrist clock?
What is a man if not a miserable pile of secrets?
Oh, I hated that.
That's a straight up Dracula reference.
You and the apple witches and the Draculas and
Well, no, they're called vampires.
the Twilight books were just a bunch of Draculas fighting people.
That is awful. That is actually an It's Always Sunny sketch, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah, they call them
Day-Man.
Draculas.
Oh, fight!
Dude, we are falling apart.
We are. We're fighting the Nightman right now, Miff. We gotta delay it a little bit longer. Preds delays his life, but it's not much further. He will be the first to go down the front line of the Wargs. Has just not found it this game. 0-5 on Preds, 0-3 on Kana. The initiation has just not met its mark.
The Fire Giant has respawned. You'd be surprised if you were just looking at positioning on the map because Yomi Tanuki, not concerned with a neutral objective, instead would like to take the team fight immediately afterward. They've got a Trebuchet right on their heels, so should be able to siege this with relative ease. Pred's dead for 15 seconds. I suppose that's the benefit of dying 5 times. You don't get that many levels if you're dead all the time, so we'll respawn pretty quickly. Yomi Tanuki now can fall back to this Fire Giant if they so choose, but it's a reset to base. Curious decision making. I really thought Fire Giant was going down.
It didn't.
Not unlike that Timber.
What?
It's a pit bull.
Bro, that's Kesha.
It's going down.
You're yelling Timber?
That was Pitbull, man. Don't eat
Okay,
him.
but you don't say it's going down like that Timber.
Yeah,
That's
like
not how that works. You
yeah,
say
well-
it's going down, I'm yelling Timber.
Yeah,
or
not
something.
unlike Timber.
All right, it's unreal. Of all of the bits so far on this cast, might
That
be
can't
the worst.
be the worst.
Might just be the worst. Angry
talking about Baja
takes an
Blast.
ultimate on the head. Yeah, that was a good bit. Kana again pulled through. Great cage. Where's the follow-up? It's just not there for the Niflheim Wargs, though. Angry sends some damage towards the Tanuki with his ultimate. A Fear No Evil sends the Tanuki backwards. Kana
in
left
trouble.
alone, stunned, melted. Goodbye. Snatty on a killing spree.
Spaudio left alone, takes the Bifrost out. Snatty narrowly avoids death. It's just him in the Fire Giant pit, as it is just Preds lined
my
up
God.
against the entirety of the
Myth,
Tanuki.
it is the same two, just on rotation.
It's the front line, yeah.
Preds tries to go in, dies 0-6. Kana tries to go in, dies 1-4. The disengage burst damage has been too much, but there's a good play from Sarpei to at least turn around a kill, but walks back into the bees and is stung to death. 55 seconds on the death timer.
What do you think Spaudio and Angry are thinking, right? Like the back line look up and they're like, yo, my front line is combined 1-10 right now.
They're literally the only two on the map right now.
Yeah, they're like, thank God, we got these clouds out of here, man.
With these clowns. Bro, that is harsh.
Yeah, well,
These are teammates that have withstood the crucible of 3 game sets, a 52-minute game 1 forged in the fire of the Fire Giant pit.
of the Fire and Flames.
All right, that was the worst. I lied. Angry
Come on, man.
now takes his second tumble of the game. And jokes aside, what's been happening to the front line on cooldown just happened to Angry. There's a slight overextension. There's an immediate ultimate from Sada Dragon or Tripno or someone else. A freeze on a Sada Dragon, but now you don't have Angry's damage to follow up. These deaths just so heavily staggered out.
Leon transforms. Is it for the Fire Giant? Is it for the engage? It's for the engage. Phantom Shell's available.
Ooh, that's tough.
Not going to be used because it would only walk them into the cage. Instead, Niflheim Wargs drop the circle and lose all of their initiation. Fire Giant will fall 31 minutes in, enhanced now.
I do feel for Kana though. I mean, at this point in the game,
You have to.
With 3 Phantom Shells, you are getting 0 value.
His ults have not been Phantom Shell. I think they've been Phantom Shell.
Right, you're not getting value anyway, but now you're double getting no value from your ultimates because you want to trap. The dream is an immobile, unescapable AMC locked in your cage. It is Phantom Shells. It's same with Leon, except
Just
you can
that,
jump out. Hydrogen can jump out, but they all have Phantom Shell, which gives them some shielding as well. It's just been so mitigated by the relic choice for the Tanuki, and it hasn't been a relic. It hasn't been that hard of a choice. It was very easy early on. Picked up those shells. Now the Tanuki on the verge of sending home the Wargs and sending themselves forward into our next day of competition. But it looks like that will have to wait. The Tanuki backing away, a little bit of gold to spend, and the Wargs will have a Phoenix defense.
Yeah, no reason to push it now unless Sada Dragon can find a pick on the left side of the map. With Magi's Blessing, this Nemesis is loving her odds in the 1v1 up against Sarpei. Even just forcing the Fear No Evil is going to be massive. So it seems to me, Sada Dragon hunting for a left side Phoenix back door? Surely not.
That's where he is. And left side Phoenix taking the autos. There's a lot of... They gotta leave. I can't be doing that anymore. Sarpei.
Yeah, Phoenixes go hard.
Would have gotten a kill. Maybe still can get a kill. Massive 1v1 here between both of these jungler and Sarpei coming out ahead, but Sada Dragon avoids the last bit of damage. Both ults used by both junglers, but Sada Dragon unable to participate in the fight. Phantom Shell backs away the Tanuki. Over on right, we were fighting as well. Now a transformation from Leon.
Yeah, with no ultimate, no Fear No Evil available to the Wargs, this is going to be a hard-fought defense. Still one more Phantom Shell in the back pocket.
The root sprint beats out a couple of the Tanuki. Right side Phoenix is gone, and that's all the Tanuki have eyes for. And the Tanuki end up backing themselves off of the base. And I think maybe a smart play, if you back up, reset, give yourself some breathing room. Don't have to buy, but just shift over lanes.
Yeah, Sarpei, still no ultimate available. Preds, no ultimate. Kana, similarly, in the exact same situation. So the Yomi Tanuki have got an opportunity to take this team fight if they so choose. Leon on the D-transform seems to think otherwise, though. Instead, it's the Oni Fury, the target of aggression, 34 minutes into this game. I just gotta think that somebody on the Niflheim Wargs has got to get into this backline or potentially shut down Snatty.
Snatty actually healing up a decent bit here. Fear No Evil is great from Sarpei yet again, but Snatty lives. The fire burning through. Angry picks up the first kill of the fight for the Wargs. There's more after the fact, though. The first signs of life from the Order team. Shards of ice down from Preds. Kana in on the follow-up. He has had enough of this dying business. He's setting up kills for the rest of his team.
3 Phantom Shells down means these walls are going to start to find some value. Hydrogen caught inside of his own tier 2 tower. Luckily, the Yomi Tanuki were able to take down those Oni Fury, so those enhanced minion waves are starting to work their way through the map, especially on that right-hand side. Somebody will have to back on the side of the Niflheim Wargs to keep that Titan alive.
How far do the Wargs push here? Low health bar on Preds, low health bar on Kana, who is the one tanking up the Phoenix. Remember, now these Phoenix is hurt. Titan being damaged by the fire minions. Should be Phoenix and leave now for the Niflheim Wargs. What is going on in this game 3? The Tanuki were on the verge of ending, and now the Wargs with a couple of picks. Able to knock down the left side Phoenix. Spuddy no able to get back to base. Titan will lose about 1/5 of its HP.
Should be able to regenerate a fair bit once it is reset, so not the worst situation for the Niflheim Wargs, who have got the more valuable of the 2 Phoenixes. Yomi Tanuki, the Phoenix they take on the right-hand side, closest to the Fire Giant, means the Niflheim Wargs will be able to contend with these enhanced minion waves while simultaneously defending the largest neutral objective, whereas the Tanuki will have to play on the opposite side of the map if they want to do the same. Fortunately for Tanuki, Snatty's got teleport available, so he can push those out on his own and then rejoin the fight. The exact same situation we were in 35 minutes into the last game. That said, Yomi Tanuki.
Are
Much
you-
further
are you-
ahead in the gold.
Are you sowing the seeds of a 50-minute game here, man?
Well, last game wasn't 50 minutes.
No, game 1 was 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, you were saying it's similar to last game.
Yeah.
I forgot last game. It was so fast compared to game 1.
So, it's just a blur.
A blur. Can't remember any of it. Who won?
Whoa. Whoa, dude.
Tanuki ended up winning.
I knew that. I was
game
just playing
number
it up for the camera.
The Wargs were able to get a big win there in game number 1. Tanuki bounced back, so on and so forth. Fire Giant about to respawn. As you've mentioned, look, it is a hefty gold deficit, but builds completed for mid, jungle, solo.
Potions and elixirs
potions
now.
and stuff now. And technically map state favoring the Wargs going in.
They got to be
to this
selling
next-
these Baron's Brew so you can carry more than one type of ward in your pocket.
Nah.
Baron's Brew is 150 HP. These guys are sitting like 4,000 right now. That's nothing.
Yeah, that's true. That's like when you get an item early on in a game and you think it might be useful at some point and you just hold on to it and you never sell it or anything like
Never
that.
sell it, never use it.
Right. Although they definitely used Baron's
Oh, they're
Brew
chugging.
on cooldown. Need to be using it now. Going into what could be the deciding Fire Giant fight. Now, what we saw a lot of in game 1 was like one death and then disengage, not wanting to lose the game. The Wargs have fought back. They have delayed the ending of this game. A pivotal game 3. Winner goes on, loser heads home.
It's the Yomi Tanuki with defensive positioning around the Fire Giant. Left alone for even 5 seconds, they will take it for themselves. The Niflheim Wargs are just hovering nearby, close enough that Yomi Tanuki can see them, and it's enough to dissuade them from pulling the objective.
Snatty used teleport a second ago, and so was defending the left side fire waves. Thought a fight was Baron's brewing over here on the right,
I love that.
but ends up teleporting in, disengaged from the Wargs, and now, uncontested, the left side fire wave is going to be able to walk forward. One more fire wave for the Wargs to deal with on right, and now the team at a 13,000 gold deficit, unquestionably ahead on map state.
Tripno takes a good deal of damage there. Angry, clearly doing a whole lot right now. As long as he can connect with those priority targets, it's whether or not you're capable of doing it. 3 Phantom Shells up and available for Yomi Tanuki. It's going to take a couple of cages from Kana to find any sort of value here. No more enhanced waves on the right-hand side means that Niflheim Wargs do not concern themselves. Left, though, absolutely correct.
Uh-oh.
In the base.
Yeah, Tanuki, anyone home? Someone's got to do something about those. Yeah, fighting now, you're hoping to, but a great wall defends from the life of the party. Fire minions find their way onto the Titan.
That's
The
a
Yomi
stacked wave.
Tanuki back away from the enhanced Fire Giant. Looks like the Titan will be able to deal with that wave for the time being. A little bit of damage rolls through. But at some point, you got to deal with it. 30 seconds on the teleport from Snatty. If the Tanuki can delay out for 30 seconds, we've kind of undone the teleport from a minute ago.
Snatty just needs to clear out 2 more waves to keep his Phoenix alive,
Yeah.
and then he can rotate back to his fight and not have to concern himself.
Are
He
you
has
pushing the
shown
gas
himself
if you're
now.
the Wargs? Are you trying to go?
Oh,
if
you're
the Wargs?
going in right now. No teleport available. Snatty on the opposite side of the map, and you know he has to clear 1 more wave. Now's the time to force something on the map. At least strip away 1 of those Phantom Shells. It's a steep hill, but one you have to climb if you want to win out.
Ooh, wall. And stun onto Tripno. Backing away desperately.
Uh-oh.
Not able to make it out, though, as Kana has shut down Tripno. But there's still a fight to be had for the Tanuki. Teleport through from Snatty.
Snatty.
Evens the number. Sada Dragon able to live at least. Snatty
What?
walks through the wall from the Ymir as well, and it is disengaged for the Tanuki. But Kana has eyes for Snatty. Eleon transforming over on right. Sada Dragon able to make it back to base. The Tanuki, though, they lose 3.
Hydrogen still on the retreat. Might be 4. Good impale
Uh-oh.
buys him some time, but Angry finishes him off.
That's gotta be it. The Niflheim Wargs shut down 4 members of the Tanuki. They will end this game 10,000 gold behind, and the Niflheim Wargs will send the Tanuki home. They will move themselves on to the next round of this tournament, barring a miraculous defense from Sada Dragon that will not arrive. The Niflheim Wargs,
Wow.
they get it done in game 3.
40 minutes is all it takes. Sada Dragon will join his teammates in the gray scale as the Niflheim Wargs, from miraculous odds and from across the pond, will move themselves on to the next group stage. 1 micro misplay. Snatty teleports over to the Fire Giant. Not there to defend his own Phoenix. Has to go back to base. Desyncs his defense with his team. Cost them the entirety of the match.
The main export of Romania, Game 3 wins here up against the Yomi
Yeah,
Tanuki.
it's angry.
Yeah, Angry can sleep now at 6 o'clock.
He's probably
already
already asleep.
just at the keyboard, just hanging out.
He's
taking
like,
a
oh,
little nap.
cool.
Well, a long contested set here. The Tanuki should be proud of the fight that they put up. It is not easy playing this much Smite in one given day this late on into the evening, but the Niflheim Wargs stand just a little bit stronger at the end of this Game 3. Send the Tanuki home, send themselves on. That's it for Myth and I. Back to the desk to end the day.
And with that win here, the Niflheim Wargs will join their EU brethren at the Hex Mambo. Moving on to our last day to be yet another 2-2 split of NA and EU teams to battle it out. And then only 2 of those teams will move on to Sunday to start facing off against some of those SPL teams. It's J-Mac and Charlie here to break down the remainder of our day. What a long one it has been. We'll try and keep this one not entirely derailed as we try and close this one out. Impressive play out of the Wargs. We'll take a look at their post-game stats to see just when it's a big point, for at least for Dave to bring up at the end. These guys were down the entirety of that last 15-20 minutes of the game. The Wargs are able to bounce back after those team fights, especially off some of maybe the small micro misplays of the Tanuki.
Yeah, I think Dave highlighted it as well. Just both of them should be very proud of the gameplay they put on here. A very long-winded set. It is not easy to play this long in a match, and I mean, both of these teams, just the smallest little misplay, stepping up a little bit too far, beadsing a little early, anything like that could have costed this game. The Wargs, they played pristinely, even with their backs against the wall, trying to defend as best as they could. They stalled out long enough, and that was all it took.
You know, we talked a lot about how it's been a long day for us, a long day for the players. I wanted to give a shout out to Angry, the fact that he's still playing back over in Europe, so it's like 5, 6 in the morning for him. Also, shout out to Doug, who's been doing the spectator work for us the entire day through. So, massive shout out to him and production, who have also been on everything back behind the scenes. It's been a long day for everybody. We still got a couple more to go for the remainder of this week. Let's take a look at the bracket, though, just to see what all has happened today, because it's been a long one. You may have forgotten what's happened all the way back at the start of the day. It was the Wargs and the Tanuki facing off. The Tanuki got a 1-game up, and then to close it out with the ending, it's the Tanuki and the Niflheim Wargs again. But just like what happened yesterday, number 4 finds an upset against the number 1, gets all the way to the last set of the day, and the number 4 falls to the number 1.
I don't even remember the Wargs and the Tanuki for Game 1.
That entire first 2 single games are an entire blur to me. But the good news is that we now have all 4 of our teams for day 3 of Masters. That is going to be taking place tomorrow starting at 11 a.m. The Kowloon Wardens versus the Niflheim Wargs, our first match of the day. After that will be the Eldritch Hounds and the Hex Mambo. And then, again, we'll follow the same format that we had. Winners of those face off. Losers go, and the winner of that losers match against the loser of the winners match, and then we send those 2 teams on to day number 4 of Masters.
Yeah, I have no preference on who makes it, but it's nice to see the EU-NA matchup still going
really
strong
nice
here, so we get to still see a little bit of region competition there in their own right, but it's going to be an exciting one if you can even think about it.
It's going to be a very intense Game 3, so make sure that you're tuning in on behalf of myself, Charlie, Caster's Production, everybody behind the scenes. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you for day 3 tomorrow.